The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Monday, August 30th, 2021, years after zero. I'm from Camp COVID. Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio, and YouTube.com/The Pat McAfee Show begins right meow. I can't thank you enough for watching or listening wherever the hell you may be. To the boys in studio downtown while I'm out here in the burbs, I can't thank you for your energy, your support, your love. And today's show is going to be fucking impeccable. Woo! At Ty Schmidt, at Boston Connor, sitting at the toxic table. Boys, how you doing?
Doing great, Pat, and more so than that, it's great to have you back. You look like you're doing well. You're feeling well. We feel whole again. It's nice. I mean, the toxicity can only last so long when we don't have you sitting up here. So it's good to have you back and you feeling better.
It has been fantastic to be away from your guys' toxic day-to-day here for a few days. At Boston Connor, I see you wearing your brand new jersey. How many days from the NFL season are we at Boston Connor?
We are Mac Jones days away, Pat. 10 to be specific. I am absolutely juiced. Just saw him release a nice little commercial. First post since the draft. He doesn't go on social media much. We are officially on Team Noble. Noble for the entire season. Let's go.
I don't know what Noble is. I always thought that was
neither.
potentially like the Rock shit. That's not the Rock stuff, or that is the Rock
No,
stuff?
it's like
is that a different company?
I don't think it is the Rock stuff. It's like big in the fitness world. What's that world where they like just jumping jacks all day long and then CrossFit, that world.
Boom.
Yeah. Okay. At Tone Diggs, also big in the CrossFit world, as you can tell. Super fitness guy. I will give you an update here. Jay, good to see you, by the way, back there in the glass.
Good to see you too, brother. Good to see you too. Looking good.
Zito, thank you. Foxy, Bill, everybody in the back. Nick, can't thank you guys enough for all the support. At Bubba Gumpino was either swimming in something, whatever the case. He'll be home for the next 10 days, I believe, if the text message I got. So I'll T's and P's to at Bubba Gumpino. All the boys have continued to test negative, which is great news. My wife is now on day 3 here of battling against old Uncle COVID. I think she's potentially almost through the thick of it. I'm out of the deep shit, which I'm very thankful for. My fever broke 3 days ago. The ache stopped at the same time as that. The chills disappeared as well. I still have some congestion and some shit that's coming out of my body that I've never seen before. We're talking big old to get out of there. But by all accounts, I'm about out of the woods on this thing, and I'm very thankful. My wife hopefully is only a day or two behind me. It just, from everything I've been reading, now I've been receiving a lot of visceral.
Yeah. Good word, by the way.
Thank you. Coming through COVID, I read the dictionary a couple times, maybe pick up some new words. New words. But we've been talking about the COVID from the very beginning and the vaccination and everything, basically. And I've been pretty steadfast on the fact that this is not just a political party thing. Okay, a lot of people think in most things that are political, there's one side that is on the right side, and then there's on the left side. And then they just sit there and yell at each other. And I think the interesting thing about this whole thing with the vax and the COVID rollout and everything like that is there's people on both parties that hate each other.
Yep.
Okay, so this isn't just necessarily a party thing. This is a big issue. You're either a pro-vax or an anti-vax, or you're a COVID promoter, or you're somebody who doesn't believe COVID even exists. Okay, so and this is not me saying this, I'm just observing and reporting that these are the humans that are out there. I have somehow managed in my battle with this particular COVID for the last few days to piss off everybody. Okay? The people that are the people that are the big COVID backers, not backers, but you get it. Like the people that have been
take it very seriously.
Very serious. They're mad at me because I'm not taking it serious enough. I'm tweeting, I'm still posting, I'm talking about it. I made an appearance on the show. They're mad at me because I'm giving off the appearances. It's not as bad as it is. Let me tell you, 104.5 degree fever. I'm not sure how much fucking worse it could be. I was close to brain damage having that happen. I just choose to enjoy my life no matter what's going on, even though I will say COVID has been an absolute fucking miserable bitch to deal with. Yeah. So those people are mad at me because I wasn't taking it serious enough in their eyes. Okay. Then there was the other side was mad at me because they don't even believe COVID exists. So the fact that I was even saying, hey, I got this, this is what I'm experiencing, this is what my life is like, they're mad at me as well. So it seems like in getting sick, I did piss off everybody. Another day in the life, happy to be okay. And from what I read, it seems like I think everybody on Earth is going to be getting this thing. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. But from what I've read, it feels like this Delta variant, in which they said does spread as fast as possible, is going to spread as fast as possible. And I think this is something that we're all going to have to deal with. Hopefully, if you're vaccinated, you'll deal with it a lot easier and better. And if you're not vaccinated, do whatever the fuck you got to do. Your life just might be absolutely miserable. I would recommend, because I still have my taste, I still have my smell. I'm 5 days removed from this thing. I feel good. I would not go back and change anything aside from whoever the fuck gave me COVID. I would have stayed away.
Absolutely.
I can't thank you all enough for, kind of lifting me up when I was down. All the tweets, all the texts, all the messages, all the DMs. You guys doing the show, you have no idea. Watching the show from the COVID cave was a great sense of relief and, like a little mental vacation for me. So I appreciate you guys so much, but it is great to fucking feel where I feel right now as opposed to how I felt a couple days ago.
Great to have you back, Pat.
Fucking fantastic. Feels like a real show again.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? AJ's not going to be here because he's at a golf outing.
Oh, jeez.
This guy. What's he got one every goddamn week?
Well, he's trying to save the world. That's what he's got to do. He's got to save the world, and hopefully he'll be able to do that. We will take some phone calls. 1-833-4-McAfee. Go ahead and call the 5-hour Energy phone line. Can't wait to chat with the people. And by the way, I thought about the phone lines, a lot.
Yeah.
I've thought about a lot while you're kind of, like, I'm on house arrest right now.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's what I'm on house arrest right now.
Absolutely. Martha Stewart.
My wife and Martha, a little bit different. She got rich off of the reason why she got house arrested.
True.
I kind of much different, but I get it. Yeah, very similar. I don't have an ankle bracelet on, and I didn't just befriend Snoop because of it. But I've had to think about a lot of things. The phone calls, I'm gonna be nicer to these callers.
Really?
That's not what should happen.
Are you positive?
Yeah, well, I was positive, and that led to me being house arrest, and then that led to me thinking, I'm going to be a little bit more positive with these callers, I think. I'm going to give them a little bit more of a chance. I'm going to let them go ahead and breathe and talk, and that's going to be the new me out here whenever I handle the 5-hour Energy phone line. Sound like it?
Yeah,
well,
to counteract
I don't know
it.
if that's the way to go.
Yeah, to counteract it, can you bring the hammer very swiftly and hardly when these people do inevitably, drag on and give 15 shout-outs and ask for a happy birthday?
Yeah, and then, by the way, if we tell them to shut the fuck up, nobody wants to hear it, then we're the terrible people, and not them ruining our show, by the way. No. Not the people that we have built up this show, literally minute, hour, mile, build this thing up so you can come on and shit all over it and be terrible and make our show come to an exact halt because you want to give a shout out to somebody. We don't even know if they're real or not.
Nope.
True.
But we're mean because we're not nice. You know what? Maybe I'll play it by ear. I had a lot of thoughts maybe during this COVID cave that won't be real. For instance, I was going to start working out every morning. This morning, guess what? Didn't start. Didn't start, so maybe it'll start next week. It is something, though, whenever you're locked in your house and you're not allowed to leave. For the first few days, my wife and I, we were trying to quarantine away from each other. We made a mistake. We made a fatal mistake. We moved something. In that particular something, I guess there wasn't an immediate hand wash afterwards. It was almost like she knew, too. Immediately, she was like, oh, no, I shouldn't have done that. She got the next day. She's out of there. So there's been a lot of like hanging out, me and the wife here, in our miserable times and everything like that. I think we need to continue to enjoy life, though.
Yep.
I think that is something we have to continue to do. Life gets put into perspective whenever your life gets kind of taken from you. And by that, I don't mean me losing my life, but I can't even go outside without feeling as if I'm fucking up or letting somebody down or potentially putting somebody in incredible danger. And I don't want them to have to go through what I'm going through. We just need to continue to enjoy life, make sure this show remains a mental vacation for people. And let's try to, embrace the fact that there's a lot more good out there than negative, and we need to continue to look for it. So that's what we'll continue to do out here. Cannot wait to chat about all the things happening in the NFL because there's a lot going on. We'll talk about the Indianapolis Colts. Just what the fuck, dude?
Oh, jeez. Uh-oh.
What do you want, Olie?
Oh, man. You kidding me? I was through the roof when I woke up on Sunday and saw T.Y. was out. Not because of T.Y. I love T.Y. But that means the Colts aren't going to be as good if he's not on the field. I mean, happy day, Pat.
At Boston Connor, what he was referring to there is the fact that T.Y. Hilton will not be in for the first couple games of the NFL season. But Frank Reich said something that made me fear that it's not just a couple games. Yeah. Frank Reich said he's optimistic that this isn't season ending. Okay, so if he was optimistic that this isn't season ending, at least he's putting into the world that there's a chance that this could have been season ending. I guess it's a couple discs in his neck have been dislodged. Anytime you got a disc talk or a neck talk, never good, especially whenever it's the guy, the weapon on your offensive side of the ball, especially somebody that has had an incredible connection with Carson Wentz very quickly in this offense. This NFL team and the Indianapolis Colts are ready to go on a run. The team is loaded. The defense ready to fucking go. Special teams ready to go. They find Carson Wentz, pay him $100 million. They trade for him out of Philadelphia. Everybody's happy. Kumbaya, that big son of a bitch is back. He gets a broken foot somehow. Gets surgery, he's back. Quentin Nelson, he has the same foot surgery. He's back. He gets on the COVID protocol, close for contact. He's back after both of those things. You start thinking to yourself, this is going to be the Colts year. Then all of a sudden, our number one weapon, T.Y. Hilton, who just signed for 1 year, $10 million, is out indefinitely. Do we have enough weapons? Is this going to revolve back to that question of do we have enough weapons to make a run? If we have Julio Jones on the roster, are we as worried with T.Y. Hilton being out because of this whole situation? I'm not sure. Also, tackle Tavi, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
He is out for a season with torn ACL. The injury bug has just ran a train on the Indianapolis Colts so far during this football training camp. And I have no idea what to think. Ian Rappaport is reporting that the Colts have activated guard Quentin Nelson from the reserve COVID-19 list and will practice today. They placed tackle Sam Tevye on IR, and now all eyes are on T.Y. Hilton. It's a nightmare to be an Indianapolis Colt fan. It seems like every day a new injury comes, a new nightmare, a new big right hook right to the jaw. How we doing? Keep it moving. We could win a Super Bowl, but I fear that it looks like we're in for another long season of hoping that something good happens.
You know what the thing is, Pat? Like the bad thing is like when teams get the injury bug, it seems like it's an entire season thing. Like this is the injury bug might be an entire season thing for the Colts. Or maybe if you look at it optimistically, it is the beginning of the season. We haven't even started yet. Maybe things will get better.
Yeah, in the first 2 weeks are NFC teams. I saw Jeff Saturday talk about this, about how the first Seattle Seahawks, and then I forget who else, but it's two NFC teams, basically.
Yeah.
Rams to start the season off. And Saturday said just use those two NFC games as an extension of the preseason. Let's try to find some timing because nobody's been on the field together.
No.
Nobody's really been on the field together with injuries. Darius Leonard was even injured early in the NFL, in the training camp. So it's just the Colts, made to the playoffs last year. The Colts have a roster ready to go. The Colts might never get out of the stable because there's just so many fucking injuries happening. It's disheartening. I'm not happy about it. Hopefully T.Y.'s okay, by the way, in the grand scheme of things. We hope your neck is all right. We hope everything like that. But I still believe there's going to be chances for us to be missing weapons. And Carson Wentz, how good can he be? He's obviously going to be better than he was last year when he had a rugby player blocking for him. The offensive line for the Colts is good. The running backs are great.
Yep.
But I feel like there's a chance we're going to be missing some weapons, especially now without T.Y.
It just stinks, too, because the couple times we've talked to him in the offseason, like it seemed like he almost had like a new fire burning, kind of. He he had last year where he wasn't really necessarily like a decoy, but we talked about it with him, and like he wasn't really the focal point of the offense anymore, and it seemed like he had been building quite a bit of chemistry with Carson and was like very excited for this season, and I think we all expected him to have a pretty massive year, and just to your point, I feel like a neck injury, especially for someone who's so shifty and quick like him, like if that's something that lingers all season, even if he does come back, are we going to get the same TY that we would have gotten if this would have never happened?
TY is very good at not getting hit, so hopefully that'll be something that'll help him whenever he gets back. 1 year deal is on a prove-it deal, so anytime somebody's on a 1 year deal, normally they're going to ball out. Had pretty good market interest whenever he was a free agent. The Ravens offered him. I believe the Chiefs also. That might have been Juju. The Ravens definitely offered him, though, some other things. He was looking to have a big year, a big bounce-back year. I'm still going to hope for that, but I didn't love hearing Frank Reich say he's optimistic this isn't season-ending, because that makes me think, like, oh. So that's not a guarantee that it's not season-ending.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, like you said, with like the discs and the neck and the back, like good. That stuff lingers. But you got to think, hey, Michael Pittman, here we go, prove it year, and you got Michael Irvin's godson on the team. I mean, that kid might be the steal of the draft.
Legit. Paris Campbell is also healthy.
Yep.
So Strahan, Michael Pittman Jr. There is
Doyle,
Jack Doyle.
Let's go, huh?
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah,
stable running backs.
Yeah, the running back, Marlon Mack, Naheem Hines. There's a lot of weapons, and the offense is going to have to be run through that. But anytime you lose T.Y. Hilton, you're not happy about it. The Jonathan Taylor, I heard him say, the younger backs are going to do their thing tonight. He's in his second year, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I understand what he was saying, and I appreciate that he's that comfortable and content. But I'm really excited to see what Jonathan Taylor does with a full year starting. Last year, Marlon Mack was getting a lot of the reps early. Then he kind of got hurt. Naheem Hines, that used it as a kind of a multiple back set. He could be a real animal, but no TY is no good. Speaking of players getting knocked out for the year in preseason, if you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, you have to be so bummed out. The Baltimore Ravens are obviously one of the most elite preseason football teams in the history of preseason football, winning how many straight?
20
straight preseason games. And whenever I say that preseason does not matter, that has to come with some context. I was introduced to the NFL preseason by a regime, a team that literally said, let's not waste any wins in the preseason. Numerous times going completely defeated throughout the preseason whenever it was Peyton Manning and Bill Polian's squad there with the Indianapolis Colts. There's reasons behind that, though. The reasons why I believe that the Colts, whenever Bill Polian was running the ship, and also even after that, whenever Chuck Pagano and Grigson were running the ship while preseason wasn't great, is because a lot of the money was spent at the top of the roster. So in preseason, you get a chance to check the depth of teams. Normally, you can also see what special teams are going to be like, because those second, third stringers that are playing in those preseason games are normally going to be the people that are eating up the preseason games. So Bill Polian-led teams, very top-heavy, a lot of money in the starters, not a lot of money in the backups. So whenever preseason football came, normally it was a complete shit show. What the Baltimore Ravens have been able to do for at least the last 20 games is have an incredible depth in their team. And also, Huntley was balling.
Yeah.
But their team just shows up and plays very well. But the downside of preseason, not wins and losses, because everybody knows as soon as the regular season starts, none of it fucking matters. The Detroit Lions, when they went 0-16, they went 4-0 in preseason. I believe the Browns did the same exact thing when they went 0-16. The preseason outcomes of the games legitimately mean nothing. The only outcomes that mean anything is when you lose a fucking stud. J.K. Dobbins is a freak. That guy, whenever he filled in for Mark Ingram as the running back, he started getting mad. Give me the ball more. I want the ball more. They get rid of Mark Ingram. It becomes J.K. Dobbins' backfield alongside Lamar Jackson. Now here we are, staring down a regular season without this absolute freak who we love, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's come on this show, giving us great conversations, great interviews. He follows along. I appreciate the hell out of J.K. Dobbins, and I'm incredibly bummed for him. Torn ACL, and a lot of people will say, if injuries are going to happen. You can get hurt in practice. You can get hurt in the weight room. You can get hurt walking across the street. You can do that. But anytime it happens in a preseason game, your immediate thought is, well, why the fuck was that guy on the field?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was Harbaugh's idea. I don't know if J.K. Dobbins wants to be out there. There's some guys that want to get those reps in. It's just unfortunate all around, and the Ravens definitely took a massive hit with this.
Yeah, because of the fact that they are such a run-heavy offense, do you think they'll probably maybe go after Mark Ingram, as you mentioned, and try and bring him back from Houston, especially because Houston's got David Johnson, Philip Lindsay, and Ingram? Like, wouldn't that be kind of the smart move? Gus Edwards is a great backup, but I feel like you need at least 2 running backs in an offense like that with Lamar.
Gussie's a player.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely.
As a player. But also, I'm not as certain that Mark Ingram will go back. Maybe they'll look for him, especially with the depth that Houston has at that. But look for a lot of running backs to potentially be cut that are pretty notable. I mean, this week there's a lot of – and Jim Irsay tweeted this. He said, hey, a lot of tough decisions being made right now, man. He said, hey, a lot of tough decisions being made right now. I think by tomorrow they got to get their team down. Tuesday, I think, is cut day, first cut. So – you're going to see them be active. I assume they're going to want to fill in, but nobody's going to be J.K. fucking Dobbins. No. It's going to be tough to get a J.K. Dobbins in there. And to be honest, I'm pretty thankful that that's – I mean, is there anybody else? Any other stars that we've lost? I don't think so, right?
There hasn't been big ones. Evan Ingram, tight end for the Giants, he pulled up his calf yesterday, but I don't think anything to the point of, like, season-ending torn ACL like Dobbins.
Okay, so obviously T's and P's to the Ravens and Dobbins, but aside from that, hey, we made it.
Yeah, made it. Did it. Come on.
Pat, do you think, like, obviously these coaches are saying they're playing the starters because they want to have them ready for week 1, but now that it's like there was a 16-game season, now it's a 17-game season, like, it's probably more important to not lose one of your best players during the preseason than potentially having them full go 100% like ready for week 1, or could we see like teams start using week 1, week 2 more as a ramp up?
Very solid analysis there, Diggs. The longer season, and I don't think any of us know how it's going to play. I don't think the coaches know how they're going to play it yet. You know, like I don't think anybody has a clue. And it's only one game is what I think is such a crazy thing. But just that one game being added, it's like, okay, the guy that was crawling into the 16th game last season, what does that mean now with another game on top of that? Do you rest some players more? Do you take a bye week maybe for a couple of your players in the middle of the season as opposed to as well as your bye week? I'll be fascinated. And situations are situational, so I think it'll kind of get balanced out. But Jeff Saturday alluded to that fact, Diggs. He was basically like, hey, let's use these first 2 games against NFC teams. Who really gives a fuck for the Colts? And kind of ramp up and see what we got. But there's teams out there right now. Chiefs, they're looking to go undefeated.
Yeah.
Bucks, they're looking to go undefeated. I mean, this is the first time in a long time we have teams actually, I don't want to say talking about it, but almost like the expectations are, hey, this team knows that an undefeated season is there. Like, this team knows that this could happen. They know what they are. I think we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. I'm not sure you're going to see anybody resting anybody, though, in these first couple regular season games. I think it's, hey, we got to hit it and get it and hope that our training camp was enough for us to get by.
Well, do you think, like, there's no right or wrong way to do this, right? Because, like, when the Chiefs, their starters played that whole first half, and I think that makes a little bit more sense because they didn't have any of the linemen. You know, all those guys are new, so they maybe want them to, get a little chemistry. But like I look at the Packers, I haven't paid any attention because they're not playing anyone of merit. And it's not like if they come out and perform poorly weeks 1 and 2 that you'll look back and be like, oh shit, Rodgers in the first team offense, like they should have been playing during the preseason. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, and I think there's a couple of different situations where everybody just understands that, hey, they're not playing in the preseason. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think, is a preseason guy. Like, I don't think he has ever come out and said, I need preseason.
No.
I think it's complete opposite. Now, on the flip side to that game, though, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Whew. Jeez.
That 38-yard rope.
Oh, my God.
He's good.
Seed.
Filthy. I mean, absolutely. I watched that game. Absolutely filthy, that ball that he threw. In the excitement, the joy, him moving, the way that team act. The Buffalo Bills are a fucking problem.
Yeah, they are.
Legit, especially with Bills Mafia. Now, I don't know if Josh Allen plays if that's not a home game.
Huh. Oh, yeah.
Now maybe he will. Maybe this is how Josh Allen goes. But I think like Buffalo, especially old Brandon Beane, who came out and said, like, we don't have this under control at all. Okay, we have no fucking idea what's going on. All right, we had a close contact to somebody that was vaxxed 5 days out. We've had multiple 5 days things. We have no idea what's going to come in the middle of the season. Who knows in this entire thing? And I respect and appreciate Brandon Beane, general manager of the Buffalo Bills, by the way, being very forthright and up front with everybody about how we have no fucking idea what's going to happen. Nobody has a clue what's going to happen. You just got to hope it kind of all gets figured out and worked out. And I think that vaccination level, by the way, is going to get real high in the NFL. I think it's going to get real high. But I think the biggest thing that I heard Beane talk about whenever he was on with us and other people is he was very upset that Bills Mafia didn't get a chance to experience that Buffalo Bills run of last year.
Yeah.
And that game against the Packers in that preseason game this past weekend, that place seemed to be filled up.
Yeah.
Packed.
Especially with this Austin talk and the new stadium talk and everything like that. I feel like that maybe, I don't know, that might have played a hand in it. I'm not 100% sure. Whatever the case, getting to see Josh Allen ball out there, I mean, the AFC East is in some trouble for some time. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills are why Bill Belichick and Kraft spent $150 million on day one of the free agency tampering period.
Yep.
Josh Allen and the Bills are the reason why the Miami Dolphins are allegedly still interested in somebody who potentially has 26-plus charges still against them that could count for 4 to 5 life sentences if they all end up positive because they want a quarterback in there. The Buffalo Bills are a problem. And at Boston Connor, I know you got a chance to watch Cam and Mac in these preseason games that we just went on an entire run about not mattering. Mac Jones looks like a goddamn player, though. He really does look like a problem for everybody, huh?
Looks like a real player. I mean, he's got the respect of his team that's so clear, which I think is massive, and also the fire. Like, even when he threw his first touchdown pass of the preseason, because normally they were just getting down to the goal line, running it in, and he was in Zubin Mehente's face, absolutely jacked up, shaking him and everything. He was even doing that for Ramondre Stevenson when he had a rushing touchdown. But with the Bills, to your point, Isaiah McKenzie, one of the guys last week who was out of the out because of the protocols, he did get vaccinated basically immediately after. So you got to assume those numbers are going to continue to skyrocket, which is not great for the Patriots because I was hoping a couple Bills, when we play each other, maybe they're out, maybe they're not full strength because goddamn, Josh Allen looked like an MVP yesterday.
I like that you went back to the Bills when I tried to pivot to Mac Jones. That's interesting. I'm sure your fans will question whether or not they truly love Mac Jones.
Buffalo Connor.
Yeah, Buffalo Connor.
You never know.
There's been a couple of those moments in preseason, though, that you watch, and you're so thankful that football is back. Mahomes to Tyreek Hill down the sideline. Tyreek Hill just put the gas pedal on a guy.
My God.
Tom played preseason.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes played preseason. Josh Allen played preseason. It seems like these teams that are gunning for the home field advantage through the playoffs know we have to come out early. We have to be hot early. Brandon Beane said, hey, it's a lot different whenever teams have to come through Buffalo. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes knows it's much different when everybody has to go through Kansas City. Tom Brady's been living that life for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I think he's had a first-round bye in the playoffs like 16 of his 21 years in the NFL or something like that.
I believe before last year, the last time he had to play the first week of the playoffs was like 2009, 2008.
How many years? Is this his 22 years?
22nd. Yes, he's going into 22.
And he's only missed the playoff one time. He's been in the playoffs 20 times.
Jesus.
Disgusting. And he's gone to what, 11 conference championships too?
Well, and I think since 2011, he's been in a conference championship or Super Bowl every single year.
Every single year. Or aside from his last season with the Patriots, every single year conference championship.
It's hard not to just think 10 days from now because there's shit that we have to talk about today. But, man, football is so close. Let's get to a break. I do not have the team viewer on my phone set up. I should have done that. I apologize. We're going to have somebody run the music here for at least this first break, coming in and coming out. We will talk about, obviously, a fight that captivated the world last night between Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul. Congrats to Jake Paul going continuing to be undefeated in his boxing career. I enjoyed the Showtime show.
Absolutely. It was very good. And, although people wanted a knockout, it was an entertaining fight.
Hey, Montana Love gave us one of those.
Man, he was throwing bombs.
That Russian guy got knocked out 3 times in one fight.
Yeah, that's classic Russia, right? I feel like that's what they're known for, is you got to get knocked out at least once before you actually go down.
I think that is legitimately how CT's created. I think it's multiple concussions at the same time, but I appreciate that robot Russian guy just stepping right back into it after getting clearly knocked out 2 to 3 times in one fight. We also got to talk about the incredible golf yesterday.
Oh, man.
Congrats to Patrick Cantley.
Good win. Good win, Patty.
We'll take some phone calls. We'll talk about 2 quarterbacks maybe in the Niners. There's a lot to chit-chat about. I'm so thankful to be back in. Jay Cutler will be joining us in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So we'll chat with him about his new podcast, Uncut, and everything else he has going on in his life. He has decided to go ahead and jump right on in.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
We will talk to him about that. We're back in 4 minutes. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Monday, August 30th.
Made more money the day I signed than my whole contract with Indy.
Dude. Why did you decide to turn down a lot of money to come back to Indianapolis for the year?
True story, no bull. I prayed about it. By 3 o'clock, I'm signing somewhere. And then 2:55, I got on the phone with Chris. Like, are we going to get this done? Like, how can we get this done? He came up with a number, and I'm like, all right, it's all right. I guess it's meant for me to go to this next team. As soon as I closed his message, Ursay texted me. I said, there go my sign right there. When he texted me, that's when we got it done. When he texted me, we got it done. Hey, did you see my eyes tweet yesterday?
Yeah, is that when you got the text from Ursay?
No, that was a text that I was almost gone.
Yeah, where are we going to go?
Hey.
Baltimore. You don't have to tell us, obviously, but I do believe Baltimore was in on something. Yeah. And then also the quarterback.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Today's event is me versus a Carolina Reaper pepper. A pepper that has what?
2.2 million Scoville on average. I think it's pretty much the hottest pepper in the world.
In comparison, a jalapeno is
6,000 Scoville.
For every second after it is in my mouth, I don't grab this milk. We'll give $25 to a random person in the comments section right now. $4,500 feels like a good amount to give away, though. And that'd be 3 minutes. This is going to be a long 3 minutes.
That's redder than devil's dick. That crunch. How we doing so far? Doesn't look too bad.
I should have taken a drink of water beforehand, though, because I think I had a dry mouth. I had a little cotton mouth.
Oh, okay. Once the hiccups start, I think you're just about done for. What's your biggest regret in life? Do you have 2 more minutes in you?
I think it's just starting to hit like the peak. The curve on this thing is just starting to go up.
You are handling this much better than Bill did, though. You are, yeah. Billy Tubes was puking 10 seconds in. 130. 130.
It's burning my esophagus.
Do you feel like you're going to puke?
Oh, I do.
And that milk looks ice cold, too.
No!
Beer that broke my heart. Hey, one more.
I'm getting lightheaded now.
Yep. Now we go. Now we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dance with me.
How you feel now?
A little bit better, but not great. Oh, God. That's a bad idea. I need more.
More milk.
Oh, God, God. Yikes.
not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Welcome back to that show. Monday, August 30th, 2021, years after zero. I am live in my COVID cave, Camp COVID. The boys are in the office downtown. I was going to go in this morning, and the plan was going to be that I was going to wear one of those Breaking Bad hazmat suits.
Sure.
I was going to come into the office, go straight to my desk. Then Is Jay just eating in the middle of this thing?
Yeah, he's hammering food.
Yeah, he's
I believe he's
inhaling a Jimmy John sub.
Yeah, yeah. Two of them, I think.
How can you do your job well?
He said big brain.
I can still hear you, you know.
Oh, never mind.
Can you, in the middle of the...
It's not
Can you-
crunchy.
I don't-
it's a sub. I mean, everything's soft in it. It's,
There's lettuce.
He hasn't got to the chips yet.
yeah, I haven't got the chips.
I mean, the show just started 37 minutes ago. That is...
Guy's eating an onion sandwich back here. It's
No.
Can't have it. He's getting married this week. Hey, Jay. Okay, Jay. Hey, Jay, fuck it. You're on camera. Who cares? Doing a show.
I mean, I usually eat when I'm not on camera.
37 minutes into the show. I mean, Jay, you're getting married. Hey, Jay, you're getting married.
Hey, coming out of break, too, by the way.
Yeah, we just had a break.
I was eating in the break.
Hey, don't let the show fucking slow you down, Jay. Please don't let anything we got going on slow you down. But I was going to come flying in, hazmat suit. Nobody look or talk to me here. I'm going right into the studio. Was going to shut the door in there. The boys were all going to be behind the glass. It was going to be classic, like actual locked away type thing. But then the more and more I thought about it, if anybody was to get sick, I'd be the worst boss in the history of bosses. So this just seems to work out much better. I miss you all much. I can't thank you enough for listening or watching wherever the hell you may be. Yesterday's golf was fucking up. So obviously the cable has not worked in my house the last 5 days.
Come on.
Yeah, classic. When you need it, it's not available. When I don't need it, that sumbitch will run clear as day. Jay moved out, think he snipped the wires on his way out of the door while eating his sandwich, whatever the case is. So I had been using Apple TV, and there's an NBC thing on there where I could only watch the NBC channels. So it was actually pretty perfect. And the only thing I could watch was the golf tournament basically for most of the day. So it almost ended up perfectly. Now, through the first 9 and then 10, 11, it was rather boring, obviously.
Yeah.
14th hole, when DeChambeau, and the commentators continued to harp on this, but it was real. With DeChambeau and Patrick both scoring mightily. I mean, they were playing great golf, as was everybody. The course was set up. And I heard a couple of the commentators say the members aren't going to be happy with the score. It's like, well, the members need to fuck off because I enjoy watching people dominate golf courses. I might be in the wrong here. I'd much rather see an eagle putt than a triple bogey putt. Okay, that's just how I am. I can go on any course and give them triple bogeys, double bogeys if you have to, but it's always like the members want it to be a hard course. The members want it to be hard. Whatever the case, they were balling. Whenever he says, Patrick, can you stop walking? I was so happy. First of all, Patrick, can you, something negative has been something that has been said to me my entire life. So I understood that. Patrick Cantley probably understood where he was coming from, but them making it a rather big deal and saying, hey, listen, he just basically called out Patrick Cantley, and then Cantley answers, and DeChambeau, and the drama of that back 9 was beautiful between those two. But it wasn't even close to what happens when they get to sudden death extra holes. They said, we're going to go 18. We'll go 18 again. Then we'll go to 17 if we have to. Then we'll go back to 18 whenever they were getting to it as they're riding on their golf carts up the fairway for the 18th hole. And we could have never guessed what we would have seen. Two of the greatest golfings I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Answering, both of them. OB on one shot, then answering back with an incredible shot. Patrick Cantley's putter was maybe the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. His nerves frozen today. I have no idea how his body generated and created these types of things. Great for golf, great for me as a viewer, and I'm not sure if you're a PGA fan or a FedEx playoffs person, anything better could have happened last night. That was unbelievable to watch, and I am such a big fan of both of these men now after it.
Yeah, how can we get playoff golf in like every single match that goes on? Because when it really is just hole for hole, whoever wins the hole wins, it is electricity. And that last putt on the 6th playoff hole from Cantlay before DeChambeau misses his little birdie putt that was even closer than Cantlay's. I mean, it was absolute electricity. The people were going nuts too. It's good to have crowds back there as well.
Well, to send it to sudden death, Patrick Cantlay had to bury like a 30-foot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And they were just acting as if it was just casual. He makes another one and the place goes. There was some sacks of shit in the crowd. I think they were getting their little Baba Booies out a little bit too early on a couple different situations. First playoff hole, Patrick Cantlay in the middle of the fairway, and there's millions of dollars on the line here. Literally.
Yeah.
Every single shot, millions of dollars on the line. And I think he was in his backswing when some jackass did a Baba Booey or whatever, and then he hit it. And everybody's like, no, the video and audio are delayed. It's like, well, then how come everybody else's sound came, it seems like a half a second after that? There's some jackasses out there who I'm sure are watching this show right now who got intoxicated and just, probably didn't even know what they were doing. There is so much on the line there, and Patrick Cantlay didn't bitch at all about it. But if he hits a bad shot there and DeChambeau wins, you know what I mean? And we miss out on that entire 6 run because one drunk out there has to scream something. It's just like, come on, for the good of the game. For the good of the game out there. But I loved it. Great environment, good golf. I wish they would have held off and not screamed in the middle of the backswing, but I enjoyed the hell out of golf yesterday.
Well, and to your point, too, about the millions of dollars on the line there, too, because Cantlay won, now he has a 2-shot lead next week for the FedEx Cup, and that's $15 million on the line. So, if he plugs one into the water or, goes OB with that shot, he would have a legitimate gripe. And I think they said that Bryson's 4-day total was the lowest score ever to not win that weekend.
If he makes that putt for a 59,
man,
he wins.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if someone yelled in his backswing too? What the reaction would have been from him?
I think somebody did. He actually stepped off the ball.
Really?
Yeah, there was a time where he was going to go and he backed up, and then he goes back in, and that's whenever I did the DeChambeau just called game because he had the most violent club twirl I've ever seen. Yeah, that thing rolls up to 6 feet or 5 feet or whatever, while Cantlay was, I think, 30, 40 feet away. And then he misses the putt, and somehow Cantlay's putt gets in there. That was just great golf. Really, really good golf. Big shout out to both of them and to the PGA for giving us an incredibly entertaining afternoon, which led into last night where we watched. I enjoyed the Showtime presentation. I enjoyed the way they did some behind-the-scenes stuff. I enjoyed the way they actually took Jake Paul serious as a boxer, it felt like. And obviously, he's very young in his boxing career. And the first couple, we have called into question the production and the people that are on microphones for the way they're talking about the person that is feeding them at that moment. The reason why they are having a job and speaking at that moment, I'm not saying in general, but in that night, normally it was because of a Paul brother and the way these people were speaking as if they had to put on for the combat community. This is a joke. This is bad for boxing, but I will accept a paycheck while being here to talk about it. It was a little bit of a hypocritical. I think Showtime this time, completely different. I think the show was very much like, hey, Jake Paul was a Disney guy, then he was a YouTuber, and then he found boxing, and now they treated it as if it was a much different chapter of his life, as opposed to just being the same part of it. I appreciated that. Tyron Woodley, I didn't know much about him before this weekend. I love that man. I love Mama Woodley as well. I'm a big fan of hers. I like that her and Jake's mom are hugging it out.
Yeah.
And then I like the fight lineup as well. That Montana Love fight was electrifying. Serrano, awesome. I think cutting to Dave and Big Cat, who were going through their struggles picking fights because they didn't know anybody else. I thought it was just a great night. Ariel Helwani, kind of a douche, but friend of the show. He had a hell of a weekend. I mean, the way they handled it. I just think job well done by everybody over there at Showtime for an incredible event. 16,000 plus at Rocket Mortgage. I don't think they should have had the hard cam on the stage.
No.
I think they should have had the hard cam on the crowd because the crowd was so big. It kind of looked small there at the beginning. And then once they zoomed out and showed the crowd, it was amazing. I absolutely loved everything about it. Yesterday while watching golf, I thought to myself, I got to start golfing more so I can become a professional golfer. This looks cool. And then while I was watching this, it was like, I got to start virtual reality boxing more because this looks cool. So as I was in my COVID cave, I can't thank the people at Showtime enough for an incredible show. And there was a couple times while the commentators, Mauro Ronaldo is an absolute rock star, by the way. I mean,
legend.
The amount of emotion he has spilled through microphones while calling events, whether it's mixed martial arts, professional wrestling, boxing, big moments, whatever the case, Mauro Ronaldo is always going to show up. There was somebody with him who I'm sure is high respected in the boxing world, but as that doofus was stumbling through about 5 to 6 sentences a couple different times, I thought to myself, they got microphones literally right now on Ariel Helwani, Dave Portnoy, and Big Cat. 3 of the best talkers on earth. Why is this doofus speaking? I guess I should not be taking shots at that guy. He's probably a great guy. He just seemed to get lost in numerous times. People think I'm a doofus as well. I just thought, why not just put... I thought they were going to be on the call the whole night, by the way.
So
I
did
thought it was rough and rowdy.
So did I.
Yep.
I was very surprised, actually, after I saw the clips and everything. I was like, oh, okay, so that is all that they're using them for.
Yeah, and by the way, I appreciate that. I laughed my ass off.
Yeah.
Watching them, have to explain to people who don't know who they are, basically. Big Cat, I am a stupid person. Okay? While wearing a suit on Showtime. He's maybe one of my favorite moments I've ever seen and captured and everything like that. But I thought I thought this was rough and rowdy. I thought they were on the call with Mauro Ronaldo. I was super pumped, but I enjoyed the whole thing. Congrats to Jake Paul. A lot of people, obviously, it was trending for like 10 hours. Rigged was trending or whatever. But hell of a fight by these two, and I'm so pumped for the event because we needed it. NFL football is not for 10 more days. I think it was a beautiful Sunday night over there.
Yeah, and it seems like there will be a rematch. They said after the fight it was a little back and forth. Helwani right in the middle. Jake Paul said, if you get the I love Jake Paul tattoo on your leg, we will have a rematch. He said bet. They shook on it. I don't know if he has the tattoo now. Jake Paul said they had the artist in the arena ready to go, so possibly already has the tattoo on his leg, but it was awesome. And finally, you got to really see Jake Paul fight. I feel like none of his fights have really gone that far, and that was kind of the boxing community's thing was, he's never even boxed more than 3 rounds and went the full 8. He looked good in all of them. He got rocked once in the 4th round, but he came back and, he performed. It was awesome to see. I think there's no way anybody can't respect him now as a boxer, especially Woodley. And Helwani did say, you got to think, is Tyron Woodley's legacy on the line here in the last round? So hopefully there is that rematch and maybe a knockout, some fireworks, because me, and I assume a lot of others, were just hoping for one of the two to get dropped. But it went the distance. It was a good fight.
Well, that's what boxing is. You're watching for somebody to get dropped.
Yeah, just like UFC.
So don't feel bad at all. That's what we're all watching for, is to see that Montana Love fight with the Russian. We talked about it a couple of times. It was fucking awesome boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was, especially because the Montana Love story, 16 months in jail for drugs and grand theft, and then he comes out on the other side, flashing, boxing, says, hey, it's my time, strap me the fuck up. You said, I like that, if that's how we turn. Is that how boxing is always termed, like, give me a championship opportunity? Because I love it. Like, hey, strap me the fuck up is what somebody says when they want to become champ. I love that. I absolutely love that. I just thought it wasn't a sideshow.
No.
There was good boxing. There was great entertainment. Now, you said that Jake Paul looked good. There was a couple middle rounds there where he looked like he was out of it a little bit. but then he seemed to regain his composure and catch his second wind. I think Woodley should be fighting Logan, not Jake again. I think Jake's way too early in his process to be doing rematches. I think there has to be somebody else. But I don't know the business as well as they do. I just appreciate both of them going out there and swinging at each other for a bit.
Well, Connor just mentioned that he thinks a lot of people now have to respect it. Do you think that is the case? Do you think people are coming around on him, or do you think they still no matter what he does, unless he wins a title or something like that, people are always just going to be like, oh, he's just the sideshow clown who comes in and sells a bunch of tickets and runs his mouth? Do you think people actually respect his boxing talent and acumen now?
I mean, I think that's what boxing is, right? And I was thinking of this, I don't want to say sideshow clown as boxing, but moving tickets and moving pay-per-view. I like the fact that they treated Jake as a boxer this time.
Right.
Yeah.
They treated him as a boxer in the coverage. The narrative was that he was a boxer, as opposed to this is celebrity boxing. And then as I was in my COVID class, I started thinking to myself even more is it all boxing, just celebrity boxing? Because the bigger your celebrity, the bigger the event.
Yeah.
And Floyd Mayweather, is he not a celebrity? Tyson Fury, is he not a celebrity? Deontay Wilder, is he not a celebrity? I don't understand the fact that he is popular why that is the reason why everybody wants him out of boxing, because I thought that was the purpose of boxing. And I think Showtime presented it in a way that was much more professional than it had been in the past, even including what Showtime had done in the past with the Paul brothers. So I loved it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Now, I wasn't allowed to leave my house, so I was definitely going to watch that regardless.
Sure.
But I wanted to be there. It seemed electric in there. I mean, it seemed absolutely electric in Rocket Mortgage. Job well done by absolutely everybody.
Yeah.
I believe we're wrapping up hour one here. I do not have the team viewer once again on my phone. Ty, why don't you answer one of those phone calls there whenever you run over to that computer? And we'll hit the 5-hour energy phone line before hour one wraps up. Feels like we covered everything of importance before Jay Cutler joins us in about 10 minutes here on Sirius XM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio and YouTube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. Let's head to the 5-hour energy phone line. Who do we got?
Pat, this is Josh in Ohio.
What's going on, Josh?
What's up, Pat? Boys, big shout out to all of you guys.
Okay, shout out.
I want to talk about the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
I think we're legit Super Bowl contenders this year. Everyone's sleeping on us.
Okay, how come?
I mean, we hear about the Buffalo, about Kansas City. I think we'll come out game one, smack Kansas City in the mouth.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate that. Good luck to the Cleveland Browns and everybody in Ohio. Quite a weekend in Cleveland. I watched them play as well. Baker looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Odell.
That Baker looks good. That warm-up catch that Odell Beckham did, sprinting down the sideline, catching a nuke like this. I tweeted absolute filth, and then all the Odell Beckham Jr. haters came out and said, this TikTok motherfucker, I want to see it in the game. It's like, well, he did actually.
Yeah.
That's why he is Odell Beckham Jr. Adding Odell into that offense at the end of the year, that seemed to click so well. And Kevin Stefanski, I listened to him do an interview while they were playing the Falcons. I love that guy. I love Kevin Stefanski. Baker Mayfield is a guy who, if he wins, which he did last year, he's going to get paid mightily. What will that do to the rest of the roster? Who cares? That's for down the road instead of this year. With J.K. Dobbins out in the Ravens, who knows what's going on over there in Pittsburgh with Matt Canada's offense? Joey Burrow still doesn't have an indoor facility, even though they got a kicker that bombs balls. I mean, maybe it is the Cleveland Browns era. Maybe it is the Cleveland Browns' time to run, but the top of the AFC is going to be tough to catch. Hour one wrapping up here on Sirius XM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio. .com/The Pat McAfee Show. On the other side, we got Jay Cutler, who we'll chat with about his new podcast, football, life, you name it. I'm so thankful you can listen and watch wherever you are. Let's enjoy the hell out of the day and find the positives as opposed to always seeking out the negatives. Those are easy to find, but so are the positives. We're back in 6 minutes. Cheers.
A perennial Pro Bowler, an all-pro, a man who's aging like fine wines, Green Bay Packers legend, Super Bowl champion, from Butte, California, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron
Please tell me that that's going to be a one-time thing.
What is the longest you've ever thrown?
Yeah, somewhere between 68 and 70, Pat. I don't know, right in that sweet spot.
69 yards is how far you threw it. Nice, congrats.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
Of course you have, by the way. Of course you have.
With home!
That doesn't get you going for a game? Are you kidding me?
No, but I have a funny Creed story. So, in 2007, we're playing the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. We're 10-1. I have long hair. I'm a backup. And before the game, we walked down the field, and I don't know if it was on purpose, but our intro song was Creed with Arms Wide Open. I looked to my buddy Nate Weir, who AJ knows Nate really well, and we both said this is going to be a good night. And that was the night I came in off the bench and played pretty well and kind of changed the narrative about me from, possible draft bust to, hey, this guy might be able to play, maybe.
Thank you, Creed.
Yeah! My kids say, like, oh, if they see him on TV, oh, there's Uncle Aaron, look at that. Oh, Dad, is that Uncle Aaron's dog? I'm like, nah, it's a prop dog. They're like, well, what happens to that? I was like, oh, I think he has it killed after me.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Like, oh, no,
AJ!
no.
I noticed this past Sunday, you were smiling, shaking hands, giving a lot of high fives to the boys on the side. What have you seen in this old footage that has rejuvenated your love? Or is it something else about this 2020 season that seems to have you just in a better headspace?
Why am I having so much fun?
Bingo.
I have just a new and increased love of life. And I've made decisions and changes and habits that put me in a lot better headspace. And there's just a lot of things that have come together in my life over the last few months that have really been enjoyable and reminded me, given me perspective on life and in football to view things through the most positive lens I possibly can. And that's why I'm having so much fun. And it starts with love. And then surround yourself with people that you really enjoy. This show is, to get sentimental, this show is just another step in that, because I love Age so much. And Pat, I have so much respect for you and the boys. Like, this was such a fun opportunity. And now I look forward to this every Tuesday.
Is the MCDC name tag then? Because it's a long time. ACDC. Do you hate it? Do you love it? I feel like we potentially offended you after finding out you're a diehard Metallica guy and we call you MCDC.
No. Listen, I love classic rock as well. So. I don't strike you as a numbers guy.
Yeah, whenever I heard you, I was just like, you know what? I'm not 100% sure this guy is just going to be listening strictly to the analytics guy. I just kind of a feel I had.
I got through addition and subtraction. Look, the alpha comment was really, I wasn't directing that just at myself. I was saying that's Brad too. Brad's an alpha. That's our coaching staff. I mean, let me say this about our coaching staff. One of the reasons I made the hires that I did with these guys, I know you'll probably end up asking this, was because just coming out of this COVID, I wanted to make sure we had more flexibility with the roster. And if these coaches need to play maybe a couple of games, so not everybody's thinking that way.
All right, it seems like every 3-4 years the Lions get a new head coach. It seems like the rebuilding process has been happening my entire life. 26 years old and I've never seen a playoff win for the Detroit Lions. So I want to know how you and your coaching staff plans to make this one different.
Yeah, look, first of all, I think I love Foxy, man. I tell you what, I love the optimism that he brings. Look, I would say this, to me, the short answer is Sheila Ford-Ham. If you want hope, she's the one who's bringing the hope. Because I had put serious thought into this as I was hiring my staff. I was thinking about hiring you to see if you would like to be, our special teams coach. And then I thought, you know what, I know you doing this radio, it softened you up a little bit. I chose not to. All right, I hate to say that, Pat. I needed to just let that be known.
Well, I want to let you know, true alphas know when to hang them up. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Campbell.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Monday, August 30th, 2021 years after 0, hour 2 begins right now.
Yeah.
Back in Indianapolis, at Ty Schmidt, at Boston Connor, Tone Diggs. Jason McAfee has finished his sandwich. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you,
Jay.
Very nice of you, Jay. Zito's here. Foxy's here. And a man will be joining us here in a couple moments who has just released a new podcast called Uncut with Jay Cutler. Only one episode out. Can't wait to hear what that is about and going forward his life. At Ty Schmidt, Green Bay Packers stink.
Do the Green Bay Packers stink? No, of course not. Why would you say that? I mean,
Josh Allen looked unbelievable against the Packers. I mean, he looked so good. He looked so good.
He did. Wasn't the first team defense, but also like we've been mentioning, like I almost haven't even outside of like watching it to see Jordan Love play and get snaps and see where he's at in his development. Like when you know that all your top tier guys aren't playing, like for me, it's just like, okay, well, what are we doing? You know, I'm just waiting for the regular season to get here because I feel like if I do watch someone who is going to make an impact down the road, like one of those guys is going to get hurt or something like that. So it really has just been get ready and wait for the regular season to get here.
Yeah, very smart of you. I think a lot of fans should do that, unless you're a Colts fan and you just see every star player get fucking hurt. T's and P's to J.K. Dobbins. Joining us now is a man who is an absolute superstar. I think that is the case. When he was in the NFL, it felt like the media hated him, so they decided to show him at his absolute worst, which potentially painted a narrative that this dude wasn't the coolest dude on earth. He's a Pro Bowler, obviously, on the field, but then we learned a lot about him off the field in reality television, his social media game. Now he has a podcast called Uncut. Ladies and gentlemen, living legend, Jay Cutler.
Yay!
What's up, dude?
Very, very, very kind of you. I appreciate it.
Hey, and this is our first time chatting, I think, real life and fake. It's an honor.
Yeah.
It's an absolute honor, Jay. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Did you feel whenever you were in the league, and I always said this about you, to my friends, whenever I had media, that all the moments that Jay Cutler had on the field, the media decided to show, all the other quarterbacks had as well. They just chose not to show it. Whenever you'd be pissed off, whenever you'd be upset, when you'd be disinterested, it felt like the media loved it. Then the Smoking Jay accounts start and everything like that. Did you know that when you were in the NFL? And was there ever a moment you're like, why the fuck do you guys choose to show me at my absolute worst all the time?
Yeah, I mean, there was a point I remember we were playing on Fox, and there was just a camera, like literally just following me the entire game on the sidelines, everywhere. I went to the media guys. I was like, "What the hell is going on here?" And they're like, "Well, they have a camera just dedicated to you on the sidelines." I was like, "This is bullshit, guys. Like, why is this a thing?" So then you just get to a point. It's just like, I guess I'm just gonna sit here and just sit here.
And you did. And
I did.
And then everybody said, well, he doesn't care then because he's just sitting there. And then the internet's, it looks like he would legitimately have a Marlboro Red hanging out of his mouth. And then all of a sudden that took off into its own thing. And that all kind of disguised how good of a football player you were, I thought. Personally, just as an outsider looking in, I thought you handled it much better than I would. If I was a teammate of yours, though, I would ask a lot of questions like, hey, why do you always show this guy in his worst when you don't do that for everybody else?
Yeah, and then then if I got into any arguments or yelled at anybody, it would spin the other way. So it was kind of one of those no-win situations, but it was what it was. I loved playing football. It was fun. Had good teammates. The outside noise is the outside noise.
When you retired, did you was it hard to watch football? Did you start hating football again? Because I remember you retired on TV, then you came back, I think, and there's a whole behind the scenes story behind that we don't have to dive into. But a lot of guys, when they leave the game, they have a little sense of jade, so they don't want to watch the game. Are you back on board watching football full time, or are you still a little bit jaded towards it?
Yeah, you're 100% right. I was a little jaded to it, and I was just trying to figure out like what's next. Because you spend so much time invested in this game since you're a little kid. But now, my two boys are 9 and 7, and my 9-year-old is all in. I mean, he knows everybody, the stats. He plays Madden. He wants to watch every game all day long. So I'm back in it. I wouldn't say I'm 100% back in it, but I'm trending that way.
You were a gunslinger. Is that an accurate depiction? And is that how you wanted to play?
No. I mean, I think when I got in college, it was just it was a necessary evil because we were playing the Alabamas and the LSUs and some of these teams. So you had to take some chances because our talent level wasn't there. And then when I got to Denver, we got scaled back, and with Shanahan and Jerry Bates and a bunch of those guys, our offense was a lot more balanced. Some boot games, the running game, all the zone scheme was fabulous. And then when I got to Chicago, defense was great, but if we did get up some points, talent-wise in the offense, until we got some dudes, B. Marsh and some of those guys, we had to take some chances. So it was just part of it.
You see the way the game's evolving right now offensively.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
You think what it would help you immensely, huh? If the offense now and the rules now, you think you
you can't get touched.
Yeah.
You can literally play quarterback forever.
Yeah.
It's the greatest gig out there.
Yeah. How old are you now?
38.
Is there any thought at all of getting back out there and throwing? No.
I mean, I think I could still do it, but I can't do it. I can't go back to that. like starting. The problem is physically I could do it, no problem. Mentally, you could do it. It's just starting all those relationships back up and getting back in a team and earning the trust of the locker room. Like all that stuff just takes so much time and effort and energy. And I've got a million other things happening at this point.
You're so cool now, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, you are.
I don't feel that at all. I mean, I don't feel that. And the whole podcast world that I'm starting is so foreign that I feel like I have no earthly idea what the hell I'm doing. And coming from football, where you've been doing it your entire life, I felt like, all right, I know how to do this. And now I'm entering in this media world, which I never thought I'd be in. It's just it's different.
So whenever you get baptized in the media world, which is reality TV, I think,
oh yeah,
hey, that had to feel good to be a babyface for a little bit, though. I mean, you were a heel for a long time. Everybody hates Jay Cutler. Everybody hates Jay Cutler. Then you get on reality TV, and I know Diggs over there, who's now a COVID cowboy, he was dressing like Jay Cutler for 2-3 weeks because of how much he loved you on reality. That was a real – I felt like a real momentum swing there, though. It was like, hey, this is actually –
it was.
Yeah, that had to be pretty nice. Even though reality TV, I heard, is a nightmare. I thought
it was the easiest thing ever. It was one of the, I mean, it's annoying. It sucks. It's annoying and it sucks. But actually doing the job is easy as hell. Like we would do, I mean, 1 cut, 2 cut and be done. I'd be, 20 minutes a day and I'm done with my job. I'm like, see you guys. Good luck.
So the podcast, will this lead to more stuff, or is this feel like this is your full focus now? I see the Outsider Studio. I know that's an entire thing, right? That's becoming an entire network.
Yeah, we're putting that all together. There's a couple other things in the office building we got. So I think the podcast is just I think it's just an avenue into other stuff. I mean, I've enjoyed it so far. I did the first one with Waddle and Sylvie, and I wasn't sure. I mean, kind of going into it, I was a little apprehensive. I was like, I'm probably going to hate this. And about halfway through, I was like, damn, this isn't bad. I can do this. And then I did another one with Nate, a comedian here in town, and it was, it's different whenever you don't know somebody that well. And he came in and sat down. I was like, damn, like this might be. And he was quiet, didn't have a lot of emotion. He kind of sat down. He's like, what do you want to talk about? I was like, we'll just shoot the shit and see what happens. In the back of my head, I'm like, this is going to fail. We're screwed here.
Are you always? Do you always have the mindset? Do you always have the mindset you're going to hate something? That was interesting to me.
No. It's just foreign things. Like, I think growing up, like I just stuck to things I was good at, which was sports. So like doing something that you're not sure if you're going to be good at is a little daunting. It's something that, at 38 years old, you don't really take into consideration because you've been doing something else for so long. But Nate sat down and we started shooting this shit and it was like 20 minutes before I even got to my first question. So I was like, all right, like this, we can do this. This is going to go.
Yeah, you have good perspective, dude. You're in the NFL 12 years. You're a reality TV superstar. You're beloved by everybody. You're a fucking farmhand. I mean, let's go. You got a lot of conversations you can have.
Yeah. You can hit a lot of different topics, which is good. How are you feeling, by the way?
Thank you for asking. I'm on the outside. Yeah. I'm out of the deep shit. I had like 3 days of aches and chills and fever, 104.5 fever there. I was about to ask you, by the way, actually, because you have decided just to jump on in. So I'm too dumb to get into the politics world or get into any of those worlds. You're a future school board member, obviously, so you have to dabble in
2024.
Hell yeah. Hey, get the seeds laid for that campaign trail now. Have you enjoyed that whole world? Because you have gone into it a little bit, into the politics world. Have you enjoyed the bickering? Do you enjoy that? Is that something you like? Or is it like you feel like you're doing something bigger than yourself again? What is it like?
That's a good question. It's kind of twofold. I don't like the bickering. And my stance has kind of gotten skewed a little bit. I'm on the whole, they're putting me on the whole anti-vax, anti-mask thing, which I've chosen that for myself, of not getting the vaccine and not really wearing masks unless it's airports or like where it's absolutely deemed necessary. But I have no problem with people getting the vaccine. I have no problem with people wearing masks. If that makes you feel safe and that makes you feel better, go ahead. I'm all for you. If you want to get into the science of it and the numbers and all that stuff, that's a whole different conversation. And I will go down that road, but I also want people to know that, I'm pretty much in the middle in a lot of this stuff. So I'm not this far right or far left leaning person. I think that's where there's no gray area anymore in the world. Like it's either black or white areas, and that's it. And I'm not saying racially, but just in the context of people arguing. And we've forgotten this gray area where a lot of people live.
Yeah, there's a lot of understanding in that gray area that it seems to be tossed out the window. And the thing about the COVID is, and I don't dabble into that world because I'm not smart enough, and nobody's thinking to themselves, you know what, Pat McAfee's the guy I need to go to get fucking advice. You know what I mean? Like nobody's doing.
To be honest, I'm probably not the guy to go to get advice at all. But I do have a stance, and I'm gonna hold up to that stance. And if you have a different stance, hey, congratulations, man.
The thing about it, though, with COVID is it's not a political party thing. I have friends who are on both ends of the spectrum, and they either both sides love what's going on or both sides hate it. So I think that is why, and after going through this, like it's obviously miserable, but I'm never sick. So I don't know what this is in comparison to anything else. All I know is I was absolutely miserable. I wish it upon nobody, even though I think everybody's going to end up getting it, is the information I was basically told. So I appreciate you doing that. But you waking up, your comments some days have to be just a fucking nightmare, though, I assume, your mentions. You actually read those? You read through your mentions? I know. I'm very thankful you followed me on Twitter. That was a cool day. I felt real cool.
I mean, I go in spurts. Like I'll go through them, then I'll take a couple of days off, and then realize, all right, like we're doing a podcast now. Like you've got to enter that world. And so I'm getting better about it. It's not something that I think comes natural to me.
Yeah, because you'd show up on Instagram out of nowhere, and all of a sudden we'd learn you have fucking 45 chickens.
Exactly. Yeah. Or some cows or whatever. So. I found that Instagram is more like a quality game, and Twitter is just quantity. Like the more shit you put out there, like the better.
Yeah, these algorithms, dude.
Yeah.
Listen,
It's
I don't know
insane.
how they work, but I think in Twitter you do have to be active. Like I think you have to be active.
Instagram is messing with me, and they've got me at 666K, and they will not let me off of it.
Oh, because you're the devil.
Yes.
This is the Fox media fucker that put that camera on you. He moved over to Instagram, working with Zuckerberg. Let's lock him at 666. This devil, Jay Cutler.
No matter what I do, good or bad, like I could do the worst thing in the world, and I'll lose like 3,000, and I'll go right back to 666 or 667. I could do something awesome, and I could get like 10,000, 20,000, and then back down to like 666, 67. I'm like, come on, guys, like. You can take away 100,000. Just get me off that number. I don't care.
Well, I'm thankful that you're not buying your way out of Satanism. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not. I'm not a Satan worshiper. I'm not the devil, but I am. They do have me locked in at 666, which I'm not a fan of.
Put it on the ticker, Jay Cutler.
Right now.
Not a.
Yeah, like
not a,
yeah, 10,000 people unfollow me. Let's see what happens. I would love to see what happens.
let's go back to football a little bit before the boys have a question for you. Did you have coaches you enjoyed, hated? Who do you think was the most important person to your NFL career?
Mike Shanahan, Jeremy Bates, when I was in Denver. They just kind of shaped everything for me, in just from how organizations run to the pieces of an offense, what you need, how to manage football games, the right way to do things on the field, off the field, on the bus, what a locker room should look like, what a leader should look like, all the things. They were, and I was young at that point, so it was instrumental to me.
You look back on anything in your NFL career and go, I shouldn't have done that. I fucked that up anywhere?
I mean, all kinds of stuff. Well, I don't even know if we have time. Of course. Yeah, I mean, how Denver went down. Getting traded to Chicago. Stuff with coaches. There's all kinds of stuff that I think you can look back and go, you know what, I shaped that a little bit. But would I actually do it? No, I wouldn't change anything of how it went. It worked out how it's supposed to work out, and I'm here now, and I'm in a good place.
That Shanahan offense is now everywhere in the NFL. It's like the offense. Do you look at it around and say, oh, I know exactly what they're doing? Like when you were going to get into TV there for a second and you do it for a week, 2 weeks? You did it on CBS? How long was it?
No, I was with Fox, and I was signed for. We did a taping in Fox for my interview, and then I signed, and then I was an employee for like 2 weeks. They paid me one paycheck, but I gave it back.
Did you really?
I want to say I did. If I didn't, I hope I did.
No, fuck them. They made enough money off of you, dude. No. You take that. They don't even know it's gone. Somebody just, hey, Jay Cutler, he gave that back right into their pocket. But
exactly.
I don't think you ever get talked about as somebody who, football IQ is never talked about. But whenever I wish we would have got a chance to watch you call some games. What would have been your angle?
I just did Adam Schefter's, and he was asking the same question about how it all went down. And I told him, he's like, do you ever want to do that? I'm like, absolutely. I just don't want to. I just can't do 16, 17 games. I can't get back into that schedule of Friday, come back Monday and it's all 17 away games. You don't get a home game. And with the kids and everything in my schedule and all the stuff, and he was like, would you do 4, 5, 6, 8 games? I was like, absolutely, I'd do that. I would love to do 6 games. And he was like, I'll make that happen. So it's on Shefty now. Like, he claims that he has all the pull, and he's like, I can do this for you. So we'll see what happens.
Shefty will have your ass doing that Manning Monday Night Football game. You'll be the on-field reporter.
I'm not doing any on-field stuff. I'm in the box. I'm not that guy.
I'm excited to hear your brain spill over a game. 12 years in the NFL, Pro Bowler, multiple different offenses. I assume you have forgotten more information than a lot of us fuckers have learned. So I hope Schefter makes that happen. I mean, it feels like
So
he's
do
gonna
I. I'm excited if he can make it happen. Because you get to see it from way up top. You see things happening, safeties rolling, corners. The whole thing. So I think and with all of today's offenses, with the checks and a lot of the stuff, it's not. I'm not going to say it's not that hard, but I'm pretty positive I could pull it off.
I think you could, man. I almost did a couple times. And I'm just third string quarterback with a perfect passer rating on Thanksgiving. When you look at Tom and Aaron and even Peyton played into, when you look at these guys, Drew Brees just retired. When you look at these older guys that are sticking around, and I think Drew Brees said it in one interview, and we're not necessarily a pro Drew Brees show. This just so happens to be a Drew Brees quote. He said, as I got older, his brain got so much better. His football IQ got so much better. He's just hoping his body could hang on. You alluded to it earlier there, that guys can play forever with the way the new rules are. When you look at guys like Aaron and Tom, what is so impressive to you as a former quarterback who's been in there at the same time they were and they're still going? What's so impressive about these old guys that are still able to fucking get out there and do it?
Well, I think it's one of those things that you look at it and the game becomes effortless to them. It's not them anymore. It's the rest of the guys. Like if those 10 other guys, or not even 10, if 6 of the guys on offense do the right thing, they're 99% of the time going to make the right decision. It just becomes effortless to them. They've done it so many times, and Aaron is a little bit different because he makes so many more plays outside the pocket that are fun to watch. But I think he's also mastered that. He knows, when he can push it back into coverage, when he can throw across his body, and when he can do some of those things. So I think it almost becomes really elegant to watch these guys do this and pull this stuff off.
Those young guys who get antsy to get out of the pocket, that is that's a big problem, right? For the young guys, you got to be able to sit in there. How hard is that just to want to sit in the middle of the fucking chaos? Because I remember Baker. Now, granted, he had Freddie Kitchens, who I don't know if you know him or not. He called a draw on 4th and 13 for him, and that whole place was just a nightmare. But anytime there was any type of pressure, he was out, rolling to the right. And the NFL defenses know that. Like, hey, if we get any push on him, they'll even send somebody. They just would buzz somebody around the pocket almost to get him out. That's how NFL defenses are. How hard is that for some of these young guys? There's a lot of young NFL quarterbacks right now who have the chance to be great, but then there's also the chance they're going to be fucking forgotten about in a year or two. That's the NFL. What is the hardest part, you think, for these young guys to make it?
Well, I think as owners and NFL coaches, like if you do have a young quarterback, like you've got to do everything under the sun to protect them up front. Like you got to have linemen, you got to have a running game. Because if these guys start getting hit early in their career, it's just inevitable what's going to happen. Like they're not going to want to sit in there. Like there's no one on the planet that really wants to sit in a pocket and get smoked, 5-10 times a game. It's just your self-preservation of you as a human is going to take over, and you're like, hey, like this isn't safe. I've got to go. So and the unfortunate thing is a lot of these top quarterbacks go to shitty teams. That's just how it's the draft and how everything's organized. So I think it's on the owners, it's on the head coaches to say, hey, if we can't protect this guy, we need to be really careful in our play calling and how we go about this to give them a chance on the back end, year 3, year 4, year 5 to really become the quarterback we want them to become.
We're talking to Jay Cutler, 12-year NFL vet, Pro Bowler, host of Uncut with Jay Cutler. One episode out, another coming around the corner with a riveting conversation with a comedian that actually showed the Jay Cutler he should be a host because he had a 20-minute conversation before he got to his first question. I can't wait to listen to that. A couple of the boys have questions for you. Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Ty.
Jay, as a Packers fan, I got to see the way like the media kind of portrayed and shaped the narrative around you. I'm just curious, when you retired, did you have anybody reach out to you and say like, hey, I'm sorry that I made people think you were a sack of shit while you were playing, and vice versa? Was there anyone that like you sent a message to and be like, hey, now I'm done now, but I just wanted to let you know you are a massive piece of shit for what you were doing while I was in the league?
No, they're all dead to me now. No one reached out. I think I've become more friendly with some of them throughout the years. I signed with Fox, even though they roasted me for like 4 years. I guess at the end of the day, money talks.
Yep.
Hey, listen, I hated him, but that check was fucking big. That check was a big one. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, still ended up giving it back. Pretty cool. Jay, you mentioned.
No, fuck, take that check even more. I mean, what are we doing, Jay?
I know. I might have kept it. Who knows?
Good for you. Don't even know. Hey, congrats, dude. You don't even know.
Oh, yeah.
Good for you, Jay. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Jay, you mentioned winning over the locker room. As a rookie in Denver, how difficult was that? And then also, was it much different when you went to Chicago and Miami where you already kind of had the resume?
When I got to Denver, it was John Lynch, it was Al Wilson, it was Champ Bailey, Jake Plummer, Rod Smith. So we had some dudes on that team, some old guys too that could just straight out play football. But I tell you what, I felt really welcome to that locker room. I thought Mike and those guys were all quality guys, and Lynch was first class. As all of them were. So they welcomed us, they messed with us, but they messed with us the right way. And they just kind of showed us the way. They figured that out. And then once I got to Chicago, Lack and Lance Briggs, and there were some guys on that defense that were straight up doing it. And all they cared about is if I could go out there and play. If I could help them win games, that's all you cared about. And I think as you get older, that's what you look for. Like, hey, do the right thing for the most part, but we need you to help us win games. And going to Miami was easy, because that was a little bit younger team, and I knew most of the coaching staff, so that was kind of an easy transition for me.
So hot.
Yeah. It was insanely hot. It was like Christmas, and I was like, "What? When does this get turned off?" Like, it's December 23rd. And it's like 95.
Get turned off.
Yeah.
Turn it down. A little bit. Jeez. Diggs, go ahead.
Jay, as Pat mentioned, I'm a huge fan. He was talking about earlier about Aaron a little bit and about the Shanahan offense that Aaron's in now. You played in the division with him together. You guys came into the league around the same time. You guys kind of have similar, laid-back personalities. Do you have a relationship with Aaron? And is there anyone maybe besides him that you thought, oh, that guy can make all the same throws that I can make?
Stafford. Matt Stafford can spin it. Aaron can spin it. Flacco back in the day, he could kind of touch the whole field. I'm sure. I know I'm missing some people. You look at Patrick Mahomes now, and he's kind of a Aaron spinoff. But there's being able to throw the ball the way that they can throw the ball just creates so many problems for a defense, and especially all three of those guys can move. Aaron and Patrick a little bit more than Stafford, but Stafford can get out and he can cause some problems. So whenever you can roll to the right and still put it 65 down the field or put it 55 on the backside, it's an issue for defenses. But I just reached out to Aaron. I'm trying to get him on the podcast. He's slow playing me though. I think I just had a case of scotch or something.
Yeah, he does like scotch. He's doing a full media blitz right now. You should.
Is he?
Yeah.
Shine.
Maybe I'll hear from him soon then.
Have you always just been incredibly gifted throwing the ball, ever since you were a kid? That was always, you could just throw the shit out of it?
Yeah, I went to my first tackle football practice, and I want to be a running back. And so I was like, all right, got your number, and I'm going to be a running back, and I'm just throwing the ball back and forth with the quarterback. And we're just throwing it. We're kind of getting farther and farther away, and he's not really getting it back to me, and I'm throwing it. The coach comes over and goes, hey, go get a quarterback number. You're our quarterback. I'm like, nah, I'm a running back. And he goes over and talks to my dad. My dad's like, hey, go change your number. You're a quarterback. Dang it. Kidding me?
Were you a pitcher? Were you also in baseball?
I pitched a little bit. I played shortstop, and then once I got to my freshman year, I stopped pitching. I was like, I'm gonna mess. I loved football, and I was like, I'm gonna mess up my arm doing this stuff. So I just played shortstop.
You did have that asshole running back mentality where you were trying to run people over. I mean, it made no sense why you did some of this
Zero sense. And I did it one time, and I still feel bad about this. We were in Pittsburgh, and it was a third down. It was like a 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 6 or something like that. And I took off to the left, and I'm running, and I kind of slowed up like I was going to slide, and then I kind of peeked out. I was like, I don't know if I'm at the chain. And the DB was gay, and he kind of stopped. And then, I was like, oh, damn it, I just got to go. And just barreled the dude over, and I was like, I'm so sorry.
He's not allowed to touch you. He's not allowed to touch you either. Oh,
I know.
That's
so I was like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I thought you were going to slide. I was like, I thought I was going to slide too, but I didn't.
If it means anything, 3 steps ago, I was on the same page as you.
Yeah, I was right there with you, man.
Zito, you heard it back there, the Bear Dahn yell. Big Bears fan, massive Jay Cutler fan. Zito, what do you got, pal?
Yeah, bear down. But do we think Matt Nagy and Pace is the answer for Chicago?
Oh, God, that's a tough question.
Loaded question there, by the way.
Such a loaded question. You know, I think it all comes down to Justin Fields. If they can make it work with him at some point in the season, then they've bought probably 2 to 3 more years. If this implodes and doesn't go the way it's supposed to go, hell, I don't know what's going to happen. Because you look back at the draft picks, the first round draft picks, and it hasn't been stellar. I like Coach Nagy. I like his offense. I've heard nothing but good things from the guys in the locker room. So I'm a fan of his. But you can only play what you have on the field. So, we'll see what happens. You obviously do not like him. Either one.
Zito, I love him. Yeah. I love him, but just want to see what you think.
Zito only loves them because he's told to love them. As soon as they're out there, he will fucking just grab them.
Yes, destroy them.
Oh,
with kindness.
No,
Oh,
Zito,
yeah.
he will bury them as soon as they're out of there. Jay,
Does he like Fields? Does he like Fields?
Love Fields.
Oh.
Of course you do.
What do you mean?
Well, I was about to say, Jay, does preseason game, what can we get from this? I think Fields looked like he could be a quarterback, but preseason is so much different because the defense isn't planning. The defense isn't scheming, strategizing. It's so much different, right? We can't really read much into preseason football, right?
And I think now defenses even mess with even more by going more vanilla. They're gonna show you nothing. And I think offenses are doing the same thing. I think the only thing you can see is, all right, how is he in and out the huddle? How is he at the line? Does he feel like he's in control? Is he staying in the pocket? Obviously he can run. That's a no-brainer. We've got that figured out. He can throw outside the pocket. But just how is he managing the game? How is he on the sideline? Like those things. But when real bullets start happening week 1, it's a different animal.
I like to see how the teammates interact.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my big thing. I understand the handling the huddle with confidence and everything like that. Huge. I think that's what you get to read. But I want to see the teammates. I think the teammates will tell you whether or not they're a fucking guy or not, right?
Yeah. If they're talking to them, if they're interacting with them, a teammate that doesn't want to play with another teammate doesn't say anything to that guy. He avoids him like the plague.
Well, I got the plague, and hopefully, Jay, you won't. Because if you do, all your far right wing shenanigans are going to get thrown in your face.
But I thought you could get COVID with or without the vaccine now. Isn't that a thing?
Well, so I was vaxxed, actually, and don't roll your eyes, Jay. Host of Uncut with Jay Cutler. Thank you so much for your time.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, guys.
No, thanks you. Thanks to you,
appreciate
Jay.
it.
Can't wait to answer questions because of that. He's the man.
What a nuclear weapon that guy is.
He is. He did hop right into the politics world.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? That's going to happen. I almost just coughed up the last of my congestion, too, I think, on his eye roll, which is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
That's Jay,
All
though.
we-
I love that guy.
What's that?
That's Jay Cutler, baby.
Instagram shutting them down too.
Oh, yeah.
Little relatable, huh?
Yeah, how about it? Hey, we almost went to war with the NFL yesterday.
Didn't have a
I mean,
choice.
Necessary.
I actually told the NFL's Instagram account, hey, I guess we'll go to war if you want. What a DM. I wonder what the intern...
So awesome.
I wonder what the intern that was reading it was like,
Oh shit! This is not.
McAfee wants to go to war. What do we do? So I thought they put me at a restricted account because I never comment on Instagram. I'm not a good Instagrammer. I'm almost at 1 million. No big deal.
Oh, here we go.
But I'm not a good Instagrammer because I'm not as active on there. I feel like whenever you comment on somebody's Instagram, you're like, I think you're
Asking.
some people are. I think comments are good, but some people seem to be fishing on people's shit in their comments, and I don't like the look of that. So I always assume because my name does have a check mark on it, if I was to comment on somebody, I don't want it to ever look like that. But I've been getting active here as of late in the COVID cave. I've been letting them fly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been commenting just because of my own boredom. I never comment on the NFL. Gunner makes an incredible play, absolutely incredible play. I have a comment basically. It's like, that guy just made one of the teams. I don't know if he made his team, but every other special teams coordinator in the NFL is like, get me that fucking guy who's giving that effort. He made the team. And then there was no likes for 21 hours. I was like, maybe that's the case. Maybe nobody likes to comment. Or maybe they put me as a restricted commenter. So I thought they restricted me, and because I was trying to get into Instagram. And then if they restricted, that means they don't want me in Instagram. And then NFL's doing it. And I think I've done a lot of good for the NFL. And I was ready for war. Turns out, a word I used in there, I guess, was being muted by them because they were getting flooded with stuff.
Oh,
so
what
it wasn't
word?
directly against me; it was against a comment.
Were you swearing in it?
Yeah,
or
what'd you
what,
say?
What
Well,
word
yeah,
did
but-
you use?
Was that?
What word were you using that they would restrict your comment?
Make the
I'm not 100% sure. It was the they put these words into muted words. It wasn't them knowing that I said that word and putting it in. Allegedly, this is what I was told. We are all good with the NFL Instagram account, are we? Are we not?
I
Sure.
think we are now, right?
Sure,
I
for
don't
now.
know. You tell me.
I think we are, but it sounds like Connor. Are we not?
Well, you never know. You know, it's a long season. They got plenty of weeks to fuck it up if they, happen to put a few more words in that restricted section.
I want to let everybody know that I am, looking at life a little differently after this COVID, looking for the positives, hey, it's all right. Let's enjoy this life. Who knows how and where and why tomorrow could lead us to. Let's just enjoy the hell out of the now. As somebody who's been locked down because I'm a danger to society if I was to go out there and yada, yada, yada. I'm still petty, though. I mean, how much was I going to put up? $100,000?
$100K.
Yep, 100K.
$100,000. Oh.
Still can. But no, positivity.
Positivity. And
Positivity.
they did make it right.
Sure,
You know
right.
what I mean?
Shout out.
They did make it right. Shout out to them. Shout out.
Just don't make the same mistake twice.
But I guess we can go to war if that's what you want.
Up to you.
It's up to you, dude, if you want. All right, let's get to a break. Let's get back on the other side on the 5-hour Angie phone lines, huh?
Hell yeah. Bring the heat.
First call
guards.
from Ohio was a good one. God love the Browns. God led us into a good conversation. I appreciate it. I think his name was Jake or Jeff. We appreciate the hell out of him over there in Cleveland. Ohio's had a hell of a run here in the last 24 hours.
Truly.
All right, when we're back in 4 minutes, we're on the 5-hour Energy phone line, 1-833-4-McAfee. Go ahead and give us a call. I cannot wait to chat with you. We'll see you in 4 on this Monday, August 30th.
Should we just make it real? Should we just say, hey, we're done, we're riding off into the sunset? I mean, do you want it to be live on your show that Vinny's officially done? Is that what you want?
I don't want that, but if it's going to happen, happy it's happening.
Yeah.
I would like that to be known. So don't feel obligated. Don't feel forced.
Put it this way. Hey, let me see. Today is Wednesday. By Friday, if paperwork goes in, you heard it here first.
First of all, congratulations on a legendary fucking career, dude. In a game that revolves around the score, okay? That's how they pick winners and losers, is in a game in which they keep score. To be the all-time leading scorer in scoring sport, I think many would say hell of a fucking job. Unbelievable. South Dakota kid, you didn't have an easy way either. You went over to Virginia to train. You're a high school teacher, I think, or a substitute teacher. Then you go to the World League over in Amsterdam. Somehow survived the off-the-field activities that you could have fallen into. Stayed focused on kicking. Go into New England. Beat out Matt Barr at some point, even though he had an incredible career. Win Super Bowls. Memorable moments. Biggest moments in the sports history revolve around your foot in a lot of cases. Congratulations, man. You're the fucking best. I was honored to be your teammate. What's the most beer you did in one night you think of one of those shows?
Well, I never forget when we went to Japan one time. Dudley, Stacy Keebler. I mean, there were so many people out there. I think we went through 103 or 108. Now, between just for myself, you know, I'd always make sure to have about a 12 or 18 pack there. And, you know, here's the thing when some people say, oh, shit, man, you got too much of that beer on, you don't even know how to drink beer. It's like, dude, fuck you. You don't know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to entertain 20,000 people in an arena. If I just go out there and sip it real properly, how fucking exciting is that? So when you're out there on an empty belly and you're shotgunning beers and all that shit's going in, the half that was going in was for me. The half that was going on was for them. Nice. But I'm telling you, Pat, when you shotgun a bunch of beers like that and you're drinking about half of each beer, you got a pretty damn good buzz when you come out. And that's a sacrifice I was willing to make every single night.
I would assume you were pretty fucked up, yeah. When did you start self-cheersing? When did you start self-cheersing? Was that something you did in college? You're like, hey, Steve, good for me, man. When did that start?
No, you know what? I got to give credit to Sandman for starting that, but he was bashing him off his head, and I don't remember, and it wasn't because Sandman was doing it, so I don't want to say I copied him, but he was the first. So, and then my style was, because people always get us confused. They'll say, yeah, man, you used to bang them on your head. No, motherfucker, I was the guy that clacked them together. It was just something we came up with. I don't even know how the beers got introduced to the ring, but it became a thing, and we ran with it.
I'll tell you what, it was pretty cool. Roger Goodell gave me a big hug beforehand, too, so that's good, sir. Thank you so much. Shane, you drinking? Yeah. Cheers to you, man. That was a good one. That was good. That was I feel like it went pretty good. Oh, look at the phone. I didn't think I could continue to be an FCC-regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Do you like playing with balls? No, I'm not talking about footballs. I mean your balls. Yeah, what? Your balls, your nutsack, your testicles. What? Our friends at Manscaped, the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming, want you to shave your pubes with the Tom Brady of ball trimmers. Mac Jones of ball trimmers. The brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Only the GOAT technology for the greatest balls of all time. Hell yeah. When you're going towards the end zone, make sure you use the right tools for the job and choose a Manscaped. 2 million men worldwide. Why? Trust them, so join the movement with our exclusive offer by going to manscaped.com/Pat for 20% off and free shipping. I use this thing damn near every day to make sure my balls are ready to go no matter what. The Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is the perfect package for your package and a key for a great grooming and hygiene routine to make sure your crotch doesn't look like Troy Polamalu. The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take your defense to the next level. This 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. This package also comes with the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds up top in both your nose and ears. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. That's a mouthful. Get 20% off and free shipping by going to manscaped.com/Pat. That's 20% off with free shipping by going to manscaped.com/PAT. Take your ball defense to the promised land with Manscaped.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you to Manscaped. Obviously, take care of the D and the balls with our friends at Manscaped. Welcome back. Just had Jay Cutler on the show for the first time. He was a great convo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Such an animal.
He's battling, though. He dove into the politics world.
Man.
So he's...
Yeah, we were actually mentioning that right before we came back. He's a beast. Hey, he doesn't care. He'll dump it. He'll jump in. It doesn't affect him at all.
Well, and like you said, he might not even look at that stuff for the next 5-6 days. He'll say something else, and that'll kind of just get swiped away in the news cycle.
All right. Well, they're mad. Let me go back to my farm. Let's head to the phone call, shall we, on the 5-Hour Energy phone line. I got sent a picture of the people on the phone from Frank. Frank, go ahead and make a selection and have somebody on. I can't wait to hear from him.
We got Troy in Illinois.
Oh boy. Troy in Illinois. What's going on, Troy?
Well, how the hell you doing?
I'm doing much better than I was just a couple days ago, but not as good as I'm going to be tomorrow, Troy. What do you want to talk about, pal?
Well, I was one that when Jake Paul first started, it's like all propaganda, okay, whatever. He proved to me last night he could be a legitimate fighter.
Oh, okay. How come? How?
Woodley, what's that?
How?
Tyron Woodley is no slouch. And Jake Paul showed some very good boxing skills, and he beat him. I know there was a big scuffle at the end, but when you look at punches landed, significant punches landed, he beat him. But now he needs to step into fighting boxers because his first fight, you talk the MMA world, the Askrens, he was probably the worst striker in MMA history.
Great, valid call, Troy. Valid call, valid point, Troy. We appreciate you there. A lot of people got to remember the numbers 1 through 10 in most of our favorite boxers and fighters' resumes that are in there when they're 10-0, 11-0, 12-0. A lot of shit bums in there for a lot of fighters when you're trying to find your feet in the ring. I'm not saying that Ben Askren was a shit bum. Okay, Ben Askren would beat us all up, all right? I'm not saying Nate Robinson was a shit bum. Nate Robinson, incredible fucking athlete, okay? Let's not get crazy here. And I'm not saying Tyron Woodley is not somebody that is lightning in both hands.
Oh, yeah.
Thought we were going to see it, by the way, incredible athlete, but I think he'll continue to build and continue to move on. Everybody wants him to fight as if he's already Tyson Fury. It's like, yo, this is his 4th fight or whatever. I hope he gets into it as well because I think if he continues to grow, it's great for the sport of boxing, which is good for us as fans and everything like that. But I think he's going to get there. Tyron Woodley was definitely another step up in opponent. Who's next is going to be the big thing. I think Logan and Tyron Woodley should battle, personally. Ooh. I think Jake should go ahead and try to find somebody next to get after.
I could be wrong, but I think that he's self-aware enough too, to your point, hey, I've only had 4 professional fights, and he clearly loves boxing. I think he almost thinks it would be disrespectful to the sport if he were to get a marquee boxer. I don't know if he wants to.
He said he wanted Canelo.
True. Yeah. True. That is a good point. Good point.
Be careful. I don't know. I think his team, though, is a good team.
Yeah.
I think his trainers are good. I think he has a good team around him, very positive. Now, who knows how it all ends? Somebody will get upset and jaded at some point. I mean, that's how all this shit goes. But it feels like his team knows. Hey, we'll get there. We got to earn our way to get there. It feels like that's the case, although Jake is willing to fight anybody at any time. Let's go to Big Rich down there in North Carolina. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. Big Rich down there in North Kakalaka.
What's going on, Pat?
Hey, just hanging out, man. What do you want to talk about?
Man, I want to talk about my Panthers. Man, Sam Darnold looked fucking fantastic this past weekend. I can't wait to get CMC with that full offense. And I just wanted to take a quick shot at all Mets fans. Your team's a fucking disgrace, and it's incredible to watch you melt down year after year.
Jeez. Okay, appreciate that, Big Rich. I don't know how big he is, but he's got a big game, huh? Shout out to the fantasy footballers, Hitman, Jason, and them. Matt Ja Rule running that team down there with Tepper, who's got big pockets, big bank. Sam Darnold did complete a touchdown. I saw back shoulder was an absolute rope. They still got Brady down there calling the offense, right, Diggs?
Yes.
Yeah, Joe Brady's going to grow in an NFL offensive system as well. Everybody thought that, Teddy Bridgewater was going to be the answer down there, as we all did, because they invested in him. They send him out of town. Sam Darnold comes out from underneath the Adam Gase umbrella. Joe Brady, who had massive success at LSU, obviously won the national championship, running an NFL-style offense with Joey Burrow. Will he be able to take that next step as well? That Carolina Panthers team last year, a lot of good shit. There's a lot of good shit that happened last year. They just weren't winning a lot of games. Now they have a whole new quarterback. I don't think they're sold on Darnold long-term yet either, even though they picked up his fifth option. They'll run his ass out of town if they don't like him. But if you're a Panthers fan, you got to at least be happy that there has been some sign of success from your offense here early after bailing on Teddy Bridgewater, who's now the starter for the Denver Broncos. Got some breaking news out of the Colts camp. What the fuck, dude? So, obviously, T.Y. Hilton, it is announced yesterday or 2 days ago that he has a couple discs dislodged in his neck. Frank Reich says he's optimistic that it's not a season ender. So that means it's potentially
a season ender.
Yeah, that's not good. T.Y., our all-pro Pro Bowler, absolute stud, although last year wasn't necessarily his best year. He and Carson Wentz seem to be on the same page with Paris Campbell, Michael Pittman Jr. with another year. Hopefully he wouldn't be able to get triple teamed. So that's quite a shot here for at least first couple weeks. Let's hope T.Y. gets back. Now we got Carson Wentz, Ryan Kelly, who's number 69 overall player in the NFL, by the way, center. Ryan Kelly, hell of a player. And Pascal, all-out COVID-19 reserve list. I don't know if it's close contact, if it's a 5-day situation, or if this is a 10-day thing, if they got it. And if they got the same strain as me, whether they're vaccinated or not, it's going to be a bitch for them. This is not what you want going into the season. The Colts are in absolute chaos right now, and this team is built to go. It just feels like we're stumbling out of the gates here a bit.
It's got to make you feel good that Quentin Nelson got back pretty quickly from that COVID-19 list, so maybe it is just one of those close contacts and they'll have negative tests and be back fast. But how important is it, like, these 2 weeks before the start of the season to, like, get these reps and really hammer down, like, everything that, like, the team is before week one?
Yeah, all these reps are invaluable, especially with a brand new quarterback in an offensive system. Now, I know Carson knows Frank Reich's system inside and out. I know he's very comfortable, I guess, everything like that. But, you see, here's the church. Okay, here's the steeple.
Okay.
Look inside, see all the people. See that? We need a little bit more of this with this Colts locker room. See that together, mingling. That's a big part of a team is camaraderie, buying in, knowing where each other are at all times. With everything we got going on, it seems like there isn't a lot of time together. Hopefully, Frank Reich will continue to be able to make magic when everybody comes back. I think the vaccination status is a big deal here. Quentin Nelson was able, it was a close contact, but a couple of negatives, he was able to bounce back. I assume it's because he's vaccinated. Not sure. We didn't hear about the 5-day re-entry protocol for him.
True.
For Wentz, we have heard that he's potentially not, so who knows what that re-entry looks like. Who knows about Ryan Kelly and Pascal. All eyes are on the Colts on what can fucking go wrong tomorrow.
Yeah. You obviously don't, like, no one wants to get COVID. You'd like to avoid it as long as you can, but isn't it, do you think it's almost better that they did get it now and not, week 8 or week 10 or something like that?
So that's how I've been looking at this entire silver lining thing. My brother and I had this conversation, as did everybody else. I'm getting this out of the way before a season starts.
Right.
Boom.
All right, I'm becoming an immunicorn. And I guess whether you're vaccinated or non-vaccinated, if you get COVID, you're treated as a vaccinated player for the next 3 months or whatever because of what we know, although we might not know fucking anything at this point about anything. Hour 3 is on the other side. More phone calls, more breaking news, hopefully about other teams as opposed to just the Colts. We'll see you in 6 minutes on this beautiful Monday, August 30th. Hope you have a good one. I have a surprise, obviously. That's what this show is all about. We have boots on the ground
in Cleveland, who I assume knew this was going to happen all along. Ladies and gentlemen, live from Cleveland, Mr. Jason Glazer. Your thoughts on Kyle Pitts to Atlanta, fine sir? Oh, there's a delay.
Well, first and foremost, Pat, I'd like to say, hey, listen, thanks for having me. Cleveland is beautiful this time of year. Granted, it does smell like a mixture of poop and diarrhea and sewage.
Jesus.
It doesn't smell great down here.
Jesus.
But I'll tell you what, 27 years in this thing, I fucking live for the draft. Love being down here. Love being into Cleveland. But yeah, Kyle Pitts, listen. What do you want me to say? I knew this 2 weeks ago.
Really?
I mean, do we need to do this whole fucking song and dance?
Okay.
I'll give you guys 1 through 32 if you want to know. You know, do you want to have fun?
That's nice
You
of
want to
you.
not know who's going? But yeah, I had this 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm wondering is if the guy you had in your studio, Mad Mel Kiper, I know that sorry son of a bitch didn't have this 2 weeks ago. Did you,
not plugged in.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I actually just explained it.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
No,
I
you
did.
didn't. No, you
Yes, I
didn't.
did. I
No, you
had
didn't.
this.
I did.
Yeah,
I
no,
did.
no, you
I
didn't.
did. You
I
didn't.
had this.
I
I
did.
had
You
it.
didn't.
Trust me. Can
You
I
didn't.
talk for Christ's sake?
Okay, fine, yeah.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
talk? Okay,
Go ahead.
yeah. Like I said, Kyle Pitts,
No, you didn't.
unbelievable talent.
No, you didn't. You didn't fucking
Yes,
have
I
it.
did.
No, you didn't.
You
You're a
said
bad
it.
sack of shit,
Jason.
Kiper. I know it. I looked at your mock draft.
Jason, please relax. Oh my God. Had no idea it was going to get like that. Sorry about that, Mad Mel. Obviously, there's a little bit of content there. He's saying you don't know your ass for a fucking hole in the ground, though, Mad Mel. How do you feel about that from Jason Glazer live in Cleveland?
Well, classic move. You know, Glazer looks like he's getting ready to go to a goddamn titty bar or something like that. I mean, dress up, pal. It's the NFL draft. Look at me. I'm dressed to the nines. You know, you look like an asshole. I mean, get him out of here, can we? I mean, is he going to stick around? Can we get him the hell out of here?
I think is his microphone still on? Jay, can you hear us? Jay, is everything good back there?
Listen, fuck you guys. I'm out of here. I'm going over to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm going to hang out with Dee Snider and Twisted Sister.
Are you serious? Okay, Jason, sorry. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Glazer.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why is football the greatest sport on earth? And do you think football is the greatest sport on earth? And why do you like football?
That's a really deep question there, Pat.
I know. I think I'd get a good answer out of you, though. Like, I think you'd be able to talk about it in a way that I think a lot of people haven't because you've been at the pinnacle of it for so damn long and inside of it. And your brain is a pretty fantastic one. We've learned here over the last few weeks, obviously. Last few weeks, that's it. That's all the time we've learned that.
I think it's the greatest sport in the world for one main reason. It is a true team sport where it is damn near impossible for one person to dominate an entire game. If you look at other team sports, basketball with 5 guys on the court, I think you've seen multiple players over the years. Maybe one player, or maybe 1 or 2 players on a squad be able to dominate and win championships. Baseball, you can have a dominant pitcher and win championships. Soccer, you can have a dominant forward and or goalie. That seems to be a little more of a team sport, but you don't have 11 players engaged at the same time on every play. It is truly a sport reliant on every player on the field to do their job in order to be successful. And I think that's why at times, you know, certain star players can get maybe too much credit and maybe too much blame on the flip side, because it does take so many players at the same time in 3 phases to win football games. And I think that's the beauty and the draw of our sport, is that something new happens all the time, because you are literally dealing with 11 humans on the field at one time who all have lives outside of football, and there's distractions, there's a reliance on coaching, there's a reliance on preparation, there's a reliance on diet and performance. I just think there's so many facets to it that you see something new every single week, and I think that's the beauty in our game. When it comes to the love that I have for it, it's rooted, and I think like any player who's played for a long time, the love is not just about our sport, it's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. I think if players who played for a long time at a high level, you have that need to be satiated competitively, and it's a love of going out there and going against guys and being in an environment where you know that nothing is guaranteed. And that's why at times I've taken umbrage to people saying that it's easy, because it's not easy. It's never easy. And I think that's the beauty in our game, is that you see things new every single week. It's never easy. And your only thing you're guaranteed is the ability to compete. I love that aspect of it. I love competing. I love going out there and harnessing the fear of failure, where I think so many people who maybe don't love football as much, the root of that is a deep fear of failure, that you might go out there and your best might not be good enough, and that's not okay with you.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Hour 3 on this Monday, August 30th, 2021 years after zero. We'll begin right now. Woo! Shots to Twine for that beat drop. Shout out to you for listening and watching wherever the hell you may be. Had Jay Cutler on in the last hour. It was a pretty good conversation about football, life, and everything he's got going on. Can't thank him enough for joining us. Hopefully, he'll do it again. The boys back in the studio. The Toxic Table at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. How you doing, pal? We're already 2 hours through this. I could have never guessed.
I know, it's flying. It's just great to have you back, dude. It's finally like a real goddamn show instead of 50 questions with AJ Hawk.
Well, AJ Hawk is at a golf outing today, so we do miss him. Can't wait for him to join us back whenever he's done doing his bullshit. I see Jason McAfee's done eating. Big thanks to him.
Nice job,
Wrapping up his lunch.
Thank you.
Nice job.
No problem, Jay. Thank you. At Tone Diggs, what are you planning on doing with Gumpy on the mend here for a little bit? What are you going to do for Hammer Dahn?
I got guests Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so that'll help. But I believe Boston Connor might join me today to talk a little NFL.
Well, you know what he's going to say. We all know what he's going to say.
We won't talk.
New England Patriots, one seed.
I mean, sue me when I'm right about Mac Jones being Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, what do you want from me? I'm just trying to give people free money. And don't forget about our futures bets last year. They were pretty good.
And good news for me, I think that Tua and the Dolphins might stink, so we'll probably be on the same side for week 1.
Okay, the Dolphins allegedly are still in for Deshaun Watson. Charles Robinson is reporting that he has in for Charles Robinson of Yahoo, not WWE.
Oh, okay. Not the referee.
Not Lil Nate.
Okay. Good to know.
By the way, Charles Robinson, a ref, WWE,
Yeah.
20-some years been doing it, by the way.
Legend.
Incredible flow. I think he's a surfer as well. Always is very nice to me. Always handles himself in incredibly professional fashion.
Jokester, too.
Jokester, hilarious. I'm a big fan of his. We're not talking about Lil Nate. We're not talking about the incredible blonde hair flying referee for the WWE. We're talking about Charles Robinson, who works for Yahoo Sports, which Yahoo Sports, we can dive into this now. Not the milk, the chocolate milk Yahoo. We're talking Yahoo. It's a search engine that also has a sports division called Yahoo Sports.
Okay.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, people used to have emails like at yahoo.com and stuff like that, for real. Like that was
Get
a real
out of
thing.
here.
Yeah, Yahoo Sports still a thing. Charles Robinson might be the only one really, running with it, but he has a thread that says sources have told Yahoo Sports that the Dolphins have emerged as the front runner in the trade discussions with the Texans for the quarterback Deshaun Watson. Texans are seeking 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks in negotiations, according to a team that dropped out of trade talks. Now, sources also told Yahoo Sports that the Panthers, Broncos, Eagles were also some element in trade consideration, but Watson's contractual right to approve the trade destination, which was signed off on Houston, blah, 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 that whole thing. So 3 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks for Deshaun Watson. If we're talking just strictly as a football player, I guess that makes sense if you think he is going to take your team over the hump to win a Super Bowl, because that's all you're trying to do. Who gives a fuck about a future first if you can win a Super Bowl right now with somebody you can maybe give that in exchange for? I'm all about that. There are some GMs and some humans out there that don't operate that way. We look at things differently. I'd rather the sure thing than the massive question mark. Speaking of massive question mark, that is all that surrounds Deshaun Watson right now. It's awesome to me that Caserio, Cal McNair, and Jack Easterby are answering the phone to some of these teams calling about trading for Deshaun Watson, saying we need 3 firsts and 2 seconds. And then what are they saying about the 26 allegations that are happening? This dude legitimately might get 3 life sentences for everything that he has done allegedly off the field. Have no idea how that gets settled. I guess there will always be policies in protection of the teams that are trading for if he does end up going to jail or going through this entire thing. We don't have to give up 3 firsts or whatever. But if you're a team, if you're a fan of a team that is allegedly thinking about giving up 3 firsts and 2 seconds with this big of a question mark, I think you have to call into question what's going on in your team right now, massively, especially at this point, 1 week away from the season beginning. This could all just be, smoke and mirrors, and maybe they're trying to draw up interest in Deshaun Watson. The Texans are, but none of this makes sense to me still. Hasn't, and I thought about it during the COVID break I've had here. Mm-hmm. I don't understand how this gets settled unless 26 lawsuits have to disappear, and who knows how that happened. These are serious allegations off the field.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. And when I saw this, that there are, 5 or 6 teams still involved in trade talks, that makes me think that, the NFL, these teams are billion-dollar businesses. They have, fixers or whoever who can find dirt and find out what's going on with this situation. You'd think that if you're going to invest that much into a guy, they would already know, okay, he's not going to be going to jail. I don't know why this case, why it's dragging on so long and we haven't really heard anything. If there are 5 teams who are considering trading 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks to get him still.
We don't know if any of those teams are considering that. That's just allegedly what's being asked from a team that was interested and that was probably told that, and they said, I'm fucking out. But any team that's still interested, you would think that they would have to do their due diligence. For instance, when I was invited to the Senior Bowl, okay, I wasn't invited to the Combine, but I was invited to the Senior Bowl, kicker for the South team. We won, no big deal. Call that 5 straight bowl victories.
Here we go.
Pat White, and I just so happened to be on every team that Pat White was on, so we just won all the time. So I didn't do anything to cause that. I was just riding the coattails. But when you're down the Senior Bowl in the lobby, there's just people pull at you while you're walking through somewhere. And I was not given any prep, by the way. Hindsight, probably should have been talked to more about how I should talk to people and everything like that. I'm not sure I would have listened, but I think Alabama and these NFL pipeline places, they have a full, hey, this is how you act, this is what you say. There was none of that for me, and probably because I refused to listen. But I'm walking through the lobby. Teams will pull you aside. The Dolphins, for instance. Here's a team that is interested. They pulled me aside, and it was 2 guys wearing Dolphins polos, but they were not coaches of the Miami Dolphins. They asked me some questions, about some things that potentially allegedly happened in Morgantown, West Virginia. Maybe a minor in possession of alcohol. Maybe a situation where I was relieving my bladder in an alley because there's no bathrooms open in the entire city. What the fuck am I supposed to do as penny pitchers?
Come on,
So there's a couple of these things that have happened that these 2 men in Dolphin shirts actually pulled me aside and asked me about. And they were asking me to see if I would tell the truth or not because they already know all the information. Mm-hmm. So they have already looked up everything. Those 2 guys, and I don't know them exactly, but I did further ask, hey, who were those guys? You got former FBI guys on a lot of teams' payrolls. You got CIA guys on teams' payrolls. You got state police on payrolls. You got every level of authority is on the payroll basically for every NFL team. Whether they're still doing their job or they have retired from those jobs and work full-time with the teams for intel, security, briefing purposes, whatever the case, those information, to your point, Ty, you would think they would have to know everything and have their own research done. You would think. I'm not 100% sure, but you would think that would have to be the case.
Right.
How come we haven't heard anything then?
At all.
We haven't heard a single thing. The only thing we've heard is that one side wanted an NDA, the other side didn't want an NDA, and the side that didn't want the NDA was Deshaun's side. Deshaun wanted the people to be able to speak, allegedly, and the other people didn't. We've heard nothing about the happenings behind the scenes of this whole thing, only of the NFL teams wanting to trade for it. And if I'm the NFL, I would like people to know what the fuck's going on behind the scenes so that my franchises are not allegedly potentially interested in a serial rapist.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going to happen in this case.
No.
Okay. We have no idea what's going to happen in this case. This show hopes, justice is served 1,000% either way.
Yep.
If he did it, get him out of the league. We don't want him representing the NFL. The NFL is something we love. We don't need that in the NFL because that gives ammo to some people that don't like the NFL to say that's what the NFL is. That's not what the NFL is. The NFL is incredible in their community, society, everything like that, although negativity hogs publicity. And if he didn't do it, we would like that to be 100% also explained. But until that is, I don't know how the NFL can let any of their teams publicly potentially be interested in this. This goes against everything you think the NFL would want to stand for at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was Rappaport who, one of the last times he came on and we were talking about this, he said some of these teams are viewing this as like, okay, well, we know we're not going to have him this year. This is a play for down the road. But even so, like, everything hinges on whether or not he's convicted of all these allegations. So how could you still even be planning for him? Like, okay, yeah, he's going to be on the exempt list. We're not going to get to use him this year. But if it comes out and he's not guilty, then we'll have him for, year 2 through the next 10 or whatever. But it still all hinges on whether or not, like, what happens in this trial, in this case.
Charles Robinson, go ahead and call him, Z. Let's see if he answers.
Yep.
Charles Robinson's been breaking all this news because he is in Houston and has, we assume, pretty high up information in the Houston Texans organization.
Yeah, absolutely.
Feels like when Charles Robinson comes on the show, it normally has something to do with something going on with Houston. We should ask him about Easterby, how Easterby's, adjusting to the new ownership role that he has with the Houston Texans, but also Easterby made a hell of a catch in training camp. Is he potentially going to be a part of the 53 as a wide receiver? If I'm the owner and the pastor, I'm maybe subbing myself in and letting holy water take place. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, from Yahoo Sports. Yes, Yahoo Sports, still a thing. This man is the one breathing life into them with incredible inside information on Deshaun Watson's situation, which we have a lot of questions for. Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Robinson.
Oh, Gump's not clapping. Gump took a little shot at me.
When?
No way.
Yeah. Gump took a little shot at me on Twitter. I was hoping he'd be on.
Well, his shot at you might have been his karma to get COVID. He's got it. He's got COVID. I'm on the other end of it.
I like hearing that. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. But I was hoping to be on today so we could talk.
What'd he say to you?
He just told me to stop it. Something about, I don't know, he quoted one of the tweets or whatever, and then he told me to stop it. So apparently he doesn't believe the truth or whatever. I don't know.
Okay, so shout out to your dog, by the way, in the back there.
Yeah, he's chilling.
Dog. Thank you so much for joining us on short notice here in Houston. Rocking the University of Houston hat. Shout out to Dana Holgerson. Hope the boys do well. NIL is going to be good for them, by the way. I heard there's a lot of money around that program. Now, let's move to the breaking news from Yahoo Sports, and as you get a phone call, probably more information. Deshaun Watson, how is anybody trading right now with all of the speculation and allegations outside? Everything's coming with if any of this is real, we get all of our picks back, or are they all doing their own research as well? They're thinking that he's going to be able to play at some point. 26 allegations, this serious. I don't know how football is even a thought of at this point, Charles. What's going on?
Yeah, they're all doing their own investigation. Okay, so that's a complete. Every single team that has been involved or made that call has their own security on it. They've talked to the league office about it. So they're not leaving any stone, unturned on it. But beyond that, every team that has engaged with the Texans, including the Dolphins, has said we would need pick protections. We want, basically, if he gets indicted by a grand jury, it's going to affect the pick compensation. If he gets suspended in 2021, it affects the pick compensation. And a couple of teams have even said, look, even if he plays all of 2021 and then the league investigation wraps up in the offseason and the draft is passed and we've already used your picks, if he gets suspended in 2022, you're going to have to send some picks back to us. So they even want further pick protection for suspension beyond 2021. But the Texans aren't having that. They're like, no, we don't want to do pick protections. We don't want to reduce our asking price. Went through the entire process of reporting, spoke to, as I tweeted, the Miami Dolphins, the Denver Broncos, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Carolina Panthers, the Houston Texans, spoke to someone inside Watson's camp, and one by one, every team except for Miami peeled out of it. And Miami is still there. And there's a reason why Brian Flores won't say we are not trading for another starting quarterback. And it's because Brian Flores and the Miami Dolphins are still interested in Sean Watson. I don't care what Miami, fans want to say and they can't believe it or whatever. It's reality. I'm sorry. This is where we're at.
All right, we're talking to Yahoo Sports' senior NFL reporter, Charles Robinson, in Houston. Has always had great intel with everything going on around Houston. I assume this is no different. If you're a Miami Dolphins fan and you see this, Charles, just put your pundit hat on real quick. Does that mean they hate Tua? Or
No.
what is it? Or do we forget how good of a football player Deshaun Watson is because of all of these terrible allegations that are surrounding him, you think?
Right there. That's the problem. Everybody's trying to make this into an exclusive thing. You exclusively like this guy because it means you exclusively don't like the other guy. That's not true. They like Tua. I don't think there's any question that they feel like Tua's on a track to improving. This is, when you draft a guy like this, the plan is to go through each season, you build, you get better. They felt like he did that this offseason. But I also think that, let me throw this at you. You know what? Guess what? When last year started, Los Angeles Rams fans did not believe Jared Goff was going anywhere. Guess what? San Francisco 49ers fans didn't think Jimmy Garoppolo was going anywhere. Philadelphia Eagles fans didn't think Carson Wentz was going anywhere. What the fuck? What happened? Guess what? Sometimes you like a quarterback and you start the season, and sometimes things change. Now, guess what? I went through all those places, and you know what the common thread was in all those places? We weren't sure we could win a Super Bowl with that guy. And so we had to move on. Hey, guess what? Went through Carolina. Said, why did you get rid of Teddy Bridgewater so quickly? Because the owner, David Tepper, said, I don't think I can win I don't think I can win a Super Bowl with that guy. So we got to keep looking for the right quarterback. Do you think Miami's any different? Do you think Stephen Ross is any different? Who has been the best quarterback they have had since Dan Marino? If they trade for Deshaun Watson, it's Deshaun Watson. So knock the shit off.
Okay, so I appreciate you, battling right now. It sounds like you're in the trenches, in that insider game, by the way. Those waters get a little bit dicey. And I do appreciate you coming out and having this information for us to chit-chat about. The last question about Deshaun Watson that I have, and obviously the allegations are serious, but we haven't seen him play much football in practice. Is he training off the field by himself? Like, how is he still in shape? Is he in good? Because every video we see of him in the media, it's not good. He doesn't. He looks disinterested. He looks like he hates everything, which, by the way, if you had 26 allegations that are that serious, I assume it's not easy to be a happy person in your life, whether it's real or not. If he goes to Miami, is there going to be a time where he has to get back in shape, you think? Or how has this been going?
He's been doing training, but he's not out there doing, obviously, the football work. So it's clearly a problem. You've gone an entire preseason where he's not throwing constantly. Now, is he throwing by himself? Yes, he is. But it's different than throwing during team activities. He's been in and out of practice. There's been times where, he said that he's had a lower extremity injury. The team doesn't believe it. They've told him, look, you got to be out here. You can't be off the field. So he'll come back out. He'll work to the side with a trainer. I wouldn't say he's in, football shape, but also at the position of quarterback. Do I think that he is the kind of athlete, and works himself physically off the field that he's ready to go? Yeah, but there's still an element of a potential soft tissue injury here. He's someone who's had knee injuries in the past. It's a concern. That's something that I asked teams, like, hey, do you think you would be ready to go right away? And they're like, well, first you'd have to get him in, pass the physical, see where he's at physically, and know maybe you got to ride a week with another quarterback while he gets in the groove. And oh, by the way, he hasn't been part of your passing program. He hasn't been a part of your offense. How much is the terminology different? What does he have to catch up with? So the question is, like, say Miami trades for him, if they did that, and Tua stayed, right? Remain there. Do you lean on Tua, for a couple of weeks and then you make the switch? Or it's hard for me to believe that that's, what you would do if you were a team like Miami. But, it's a concern that he has not been part of a camp or your offensive playbook or, everything else over the last month.
Last question from me before the boys have a couple for you, and I can't thank you enough for joining us. Charles Robinson, senior NFL reporter for Yahoo Sports, lives in Houston area. Have you guys heard more about everything happening off the field with Deshaun Watson than we have from Indianapolis? Because it's been eerily quiet. The only thing we've heard is the potential NDA conversation a couple weeks ago where Deshaun's team didn't want them to Deshaun's team wanted them to be able to speak. The people that were alleging these terrible things about him, allegedly the other side didn't want them to be able to speak. Is there anything happening, or is that at a standstill over there?
So right now, depositions for, I think it's the first civil case, are set to begin, I think, in a couple of weeks. So if you're just talking about the civil cases, Deshaun's deposition isn't on the docket until February. So it would be after the season. And that's all for that first civil case. Remember, we're talking about 22 civil cases. And at this point, they're not together, they're separate. In terms of the NDA that you spoke of, yes, that is correct. Deshaun's attorney, Rusty Hardin, has said repeatedly, if we were to settle, and he's like, and the other side wants to settle, Tony Busby and his 22 plaintiffs, they absolutely want to settle here. We want it to be public. There's no NDA as far as what the money was. Everyone gets to know what the money is, and we get to talk about why we settled, why the financial amounts are what they are. He claims that Tony Busby and the 22 women that are involved in the civil suits don't want that. Is it somewhere in the middle? And why would you want, as a plaintiff's attorney like Tony Busby, usually you want the financial amounts out there. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes between those two in terms of whether a settlement will happen. But I think for NFL teams, there's also that other layer of, is he going to be indicted by a grand jury? The grand jury subpoenas have gone out. They're going to gather evidence and decide whether now we want to move forward with some testimony. There's only a 90-day period for grand juries in Houston. So, where are you in this current grand jury's, time period? If you're on day 87, well, you kind of wait. You want to wait until the next one gets impaneled before you start that whole process. Where's the FBI at? Both the lawyers are saying they don't have any idea where the FBI's investigation is at on this. Houston Police Department's involved. That's another investigation. And then the league has basically said, and both lawyers have confirmed this, that the league has said, we'll wrap when the criminal investigations are done. We're not stepping on anybody else. Wrap up the criminal side of it. Then we'll do the remainder of our interviews that would include Deshaun Watson. So, there's so many. You said at the beginning, how does a team, any team trade for a guy who is under 4 separate investigations, only one of which is the NFL's? And then the whole entire multitude of civil lawsuits. The answer I have for that is I don't know. I've said repeatedly to anyone who would ask, it would be the single. You would have to have massive balls as a general manager and an owner and a head coach and anyone else in that franchise to bring on Deshaun Watson in the midst of this. In particular, if you're giving up close to full value. There's no other way to state it. And I get that. You hear a lot of that from Dolphins fans, like the why. I actually understand that. I completely understand that. But I don't run a team. I don't have to win a Super Bowl. It's not my decision. So, and I've seen NFL teams, honestly, frankly, make worse decisions in my 20 years covering the league.
Yeah, you just hope that in the NFL of 2021 that a decision like this would not take precedent over handling this serious of an allegation, but it is the NFL. Your dog is awesome.
Yeah.
What's the name?
Oh, it's Coach.
Coach, what's good, pal? Coach is so cute. I appreciate that. We got two more questions for you. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Go ahead, Ty.
Charles, Gardner Minshew getting traded to the Eagles, like we've heard all offseason and through training camp and the preseason here that they love Jalen Hurts. They think he is the guy. Why did they trade for Gardner Minshew? Like, I mean, is he's to be a third string quarterback? That's where he's at in the depth chart right now. Like, what are you hearing about this? What spurred this?
Well, he won't stay third string. And, I think there are a couple of different elements here. He fits more in terms of the things they would teach and how the offense would function, he fits more what Jalen Hurts does. So there's some continuity there. He's a younger piece that can remain there beyond this season. So, with Howie Roseman, when you talk to Howie Roseman, the general manager there, about quarterbacks, he always likes to have depth at quarterbacks. He likes to have a number of quarterbacks. And if they're young guys that he thinks can actually develop a little bit, he'll tell you, well, we could always flip this guy later for a different piece. And frankly, as much as they want Jalen Hurts to develop, they want it to be a competitive situation. And the fact is, until Minshew walks in there, is it really a long-term competitive situation for Jalen Hurts? No. I mean, look at the depth chart. You think Joe Flacco is going to be a long-term competitive push for Jalen Hurts? No, he's not going to be. Gardner Minshew will be. Gardner Minshew he reminds me a little of Ryan Fitzpatrick when you talk to him. In terms of he wants to be the starting quarterback. He wants that job. I think he's also, though, capable of supporting whoever the starter is, which is important for a backup. But they just wanted talent at the position. They wanted young talent at the position that maintained some offensive continuity in terms of what they could do with him, the kind of plays they could run. And he gives them that. And he was cheap.
I think your dog found another dog.
Quiet.
What's the other dog?
Oh, that's Toasty.
Toasty and Coach?
Yeah, his name's Toasty because my girl, we were thinking of dog names one night and she was drunk on the couch and I said, I told her she was really toasty and that would be a good dog name. That's how I got named.
Hey, 2 tickets to Toasty Land, Pop. That's what it's all about. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Charles, can we expect Justin Reed to be coming in for the 60-plus yarder field goals this year, or is he strictly a kickoff specialist?
That was awesome.
Yeah, man, that was probably one of those preseason moments where you're like, holy cow, I did not expect that. That was dope. It was awesome. I love watching when you're a returner and where were his heels? The 5? The 10?
Yeah.
You think, oh, he's going to short this. He killed it. Yeah, Pat, you must have been going crazy.
I was in the middle of the COVID cave, so I couldn't go too bananas, but I did enjoy that he took a real hack at that. Good hang time as well. And then former teammates of mine obviously took that as an opportunity to take shots and slights at kickers not being athletic, and why not? I'll tell you what, if you can find a safety who can fly around and bomb a 4-second kickoff like that, you'd be remiss not to put him at kicker. Is Jack Easterby thinking about maybe putting him a kicker over there, or what has Jack Easterby been up to this training camp?
I don't think anyone around here is allowed to talk to Jack Easterby anymore.
Why not?
Only God.
Get more quotes out of that guy.
Yeah, I don't think we're allowed to. I'll tell you what. I think I see him anonymously quoted. I'll put it to you that way. I do hate the anonymous quotes that I'm like, I think I know who said that, but. Yeah, I don't know. Jack's, as far as they're concerned, Jack doesn't have anything to do with anything in the organization anymore, which that's not true. But
okay, ladies and gentlemen, from his car in the middle of a dog walk, I believe 2 of them, Toasty and Coach. We can't thank you enough. Senior NFL insider and reporter for Yahoo Sports, Charles Robinson.
Everybody get better, please. All right, be safe.
You too.
You too.
Hey, you too.
Thank you,
Charles.
I can't believe somebody's going to give up 3 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders in the future for Deshaun Watson with all this shit going on. It doesn't sound like it's anywhere near getting settled.
Well, can't do it.
No, he said the first civil case of 22.
Yeah. Dude, and that doesn't start for another 3 months.
February is his first deposition.
Also, if you have to go into a trade with contingencies, like, hey, if this guy does have to go to jail for the next 100 years, we would like our picks back. Like, maybe you should pump the brakes just a tad bit.
We got to get to a break. I don't know how, and that's why Gumpy's probably pissed. Oh, come on, Charles.
Stop it.
And I love that Because the reason why I said Gumpy, by the way, whenever I told Zito to call Charles Robinson, it's because he literally in his message, I said, any chance we can call you? And he said, is Gump on? And that was his message. So he was looking for some comeuppance there for Gumpy, I believe. Shout out to Gumpy, by the way. Hey, we're pulling for you, third.
Shout out to Gump. You got it, Gump.
Go get it, go.
Pulling for you. COVID cave. It'll change you.
Yeah.
It made Diggs the greatest gambler on earth. Maybe it'll do the same for Gump. Even though Gump's already the greatest gambler on earth.
True. Make him even better.
You know what I was just thinking? Since you guys are vaccinated, you guys getting COVID here, it's basically like getting your booster.
Kind of, huh?
Yeah,
it feels like
you're fucking immune boosted, immune-corned for the football season.
What was that? For how many months? 18 months we'd been running around working, socially distancing, evading COVID.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Playing keep away from COVID.
Dodging.
Dodge, duck, dip, diving, and dodging COVID. Day 3 of it, when I was about on the tail end of it, I thought to myself, I should have got this day 1.
Yeah. First thought.
But I wasn't vaccinated then. Vaccination allegedly helped me get through this a lot faster, so I'm thankful for that.
Oh, yeah.
But I hope we all get to the point where, we just decide we're kicking COVID out of town.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hopefully Gumpy's able to do that quicker than slower. He is also vaxxed, I believe. Hour 3 here on this Sirius XM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio and YouTube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. We'll power on the other side of this 4-minute break. We're heading to the 5-Hour Energy phone line. Use promo code McAfee to get 10% off your order at 5hourenergy.com. We'll hit those up 1-833-4-McAfee and wrap up this beautiful Monday, August 30th before Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed. Here's the chip, and we'll see you in 4.
All the hard work throughout my entire life, whether it was driving me to practice, to go to work, the coaches that invested hours in me, everything I have done to get to this point. I got a whole town, a community, a family, a tribe of people watching me potentially live out my dreams that we all thought was gonna happen. And when I get to Rock, I get a chance to carry 8 motherfuckers that are playing for a team that is in the city that I went to college in. I carry 8 people, have the biggest moment in my football career, maybe make a team, if not with the coach somewhere else. Hey, that guy's got juice, let's do it. Change the entire direction in the course of my family's life. I can't be excited though.
No.
Don't even think about it.
Don't you fucking dare.
Are you kidding me? All that just happened and everything I just said there and more is potentially happening in that one play? Don't even fucking think it. Get your fucking ass back in the huddle. You know Barry Sanders? Hey, Barry Sanders, he'd score a touchdown and he would just hand it to the ref and then he was gone. Why don't I? Well, Barry Sanders also won the Heisman, right?
Yeah.
It was also like the all-time leading scorer in this whole thing. Barry Sanders was unbelievable, worked his ass off. Let's not get crazy. And Barry Sanders had the ability to act like he had been there before because Barry Sanders, by the way, had fucking been there before. And maybe Barry Sanders, the way he goes about business isn't how everybody goes about business. Maybe there's a lot of different stories, a lot of different situations, a lot of different life events that lead to somebody acting differently than somebody that just acted, almost robotic while being one of the most exciting and electric players in the history. Got nothing but love for Barry Sanders. Let's not get crazy. But there's a lot of people tweeting, act like you've been there before. It's like, you think this motherfucker's been there before? This dude just carried 8 people and maybe changed the entire life. He can't be excited. Aren't we a game of emotion? Aren't we a game of excitement? Why is this a fucking penalty? Hey, Goodell! Hey, eating your M&Ms, sitting on the chair, being cool. You became my commissioner. You weren't my commissioner when, hey, you dance, you're fucking out. Your sock slide, you're fucking out. We don't want anything. We want robots, no emotion. Everybody hated you then, Raj. All right, everybody hated you. And nobody understood why you're trying to take the fun out of the game. You're doing it because you want to be able to just pluck and play. You didn't want to have players be brand names because then you could replace them easily. Okay, I understand the business side of it, but we all agreed, the tribe has spoken, that the game's better when people are excited. Some things are too much. All right, some things are way too much. There were some dances that happened that looked a little bit more like basketball, where we're all like, there's no way that can happen with a full line dance. We get it. There was some. But it added to the game. The excitement added to everything. Now taking away this and making it a point of emphasis. And I'm not saying that there should be egregious, if something egregious happens, they should penalize them. Yes, please. It's not for the good of our game, not for the good of the league, not good for fans, not good for anybody. I understand that's going to happen, but a point of emphasis means, hey, we're cracking down on this because we don't want it to happen anymore. And why are we targeting that as opposed to targeting something else I'll never understand? My commissioner, Roger Goodell, is going to get to the bottom of this if Sam Acho doesn't do it first.
Yeah.
Doing it for the brand. It's the Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
From the hills of Humboldt County, Canadips has brought back a limited run of global favorite Blue Dream. That's right, America's favorite sativa is back and will sell out later this week. If you haven't yet rode these Blue Dream cans, then stock up because they won't be re-releasing until next year.
No, they won't.
Yeah. Now, head to CannadipsCBD.com and save 20% with code LIPBOOMERS.
Hell yeah.
Listen, armchair quarterbacks keep those elbows greased and stay on point as you plan on making the biggest wagers of the season this year. Candidates will lower the nerves and up the focus.
Okay.
The NFL Big Game Giveaway closes tomorrow, August 31st at midnight, where Candidates is giving you $3,000 to go to your favorite game of the year or pocket the cash and spend it on FanDuel or Candidates cans.
Hell yeah.
To win the $3,000, enter on the CannadipsCBD.com homepage and click Game of the Year. Also, friendly reminder, don't forget the promo code and save big this season with Lip Boomers for 20% off.
Shout out.
Shout out. Shout out. Shout out. Shout out.
We going to Croptober or what?
It's close.
I mean, it's around the corner. Gonna be in a unicorn, right?
I think I'm allowed to just walk around like, hey, blow on me.
Yeah. Go ahead, sneeze.
Is that right, Diggs?
Yeah,
you
you
know what I'm
can-
allowed to do, Diggs?
Yeah, you can pretty much do whatever you want, Pat. Like, that's what I was told, and that's what I did. One thing I wouldn't recommend, though, doing is if you're an NFL player, 10 days before the season starts, is doing the crate challenge. Something I wouldn't recommend doing.
Yikes.
Go on.
Is that something you would think about? You think you or any of your teammates would do, before, like 10 days before the season? You know, all these videos been going around of people getting destroyed and potentially breaking limbs, and you know, got a big season coming up. You know, last season we didn't have fans. It's a pretty important season coming up, and a lot of people depend on us. Just want everyone to be happy and healthy and safe for the season.
Who are you talking about?
TikTok star first, NFL star second. Juju went out there and did the crate
I've
challenge.
seen this.
Now, congrats, he completed it, but you know, could have.
He looks like he's being very careful.
Now, he was taking his time. He's obviously an incredible athlete. We haven't seen the beginning, though, with Juju. Are we 100% sure that he went up the first side? We would have seen the back side, right? We would have seen the entire thing if he really did it.
Yeah, I thought that as well, that we did not see him at the peak of it, but yeah.
I mean, I just saw earlier today on HaHa Davis's Instagram a white take a fall. I mean, he was probably like 5 crates up. That thing started wobbling. He's out face. We're talking face hard on the side of crate. Now, I don't think that would happen to Juju with how athletic he is, but I do think that is a bit, you know, I mean, there's no reason to put yourself into any harm's way, especially because we just made it out of training camp. The regular season's about to start. Juju made it. He's safe. This is what makes Juju, okay? Juju is willing to go across the middle and block somebody just like he's willing to go ahead and take part in the crate challenge. You can't you can't go ahead and corral the creativity, okay, of Juju. Juju's going to do what he wants to do, but if that was somebody that was on a team that I was a fan of, I would certainly be saying, why the fuck are you getting on those crates?
Yeah, that's just how I felt. I feel like I'm just a concerned parent out there. Like, listen, I know it's fun and fun out there to get on the TikTok and stuff, but I don't want you getting hurt, okay?
Are you worried about the sounds like you're kind of...
What do you mean?
Sounds like you're kind of dancing around what you really...
I said I was not going to speak anything negative until the season starts, okay? We're close, so I'm halfway
10 days
there.
away. Hey, we're 10 days away from the season, and maybe that's what Juju thought. If I fall and bust my neck, I'll have 10 days to get it back together.
Plenty of time.
What if he gets COVID from this event?
Oh, no.
I did notice that he was around a lot of people and did not have a mask, but let's assume he's maybe in a unicorn or it doesn't matter from what I've been told. I don't know.
See, it was weird because I actually saw, I think it was on his social medias this weekend, he was putting on his social medias of other people doing it. It looked like it was on Pitt's campus, but he never put the video of him doing it on his social media, which I find weird.
So he's not even doing it for the views.
Well, maybe he's
doing it to beat it.
He's
The adrenaline rush.
Determination almost from this guy.
Maybe Juju is so invested in the internet that he's seen all of his fallen brothers and sisters get beat by these fucking milk crates, and he said, listen, I'm a part of the internet. I'll sacrifice myself as well, and when I conquer these crates, it's a conquering for all of us.
That could be. That's probably the way I was thinking.
Yeah, but also having two people walk next to him, like, sure, you might fall off left to right, but a lot of people are falling straight down, like you just mentioned, and smacking their head on the crates.
Hey, listen, we can imagine whatever, right? Imagine if somebody gets hurt walking across a parking lot. Imagine if somebody, whatever, you know, you get hurt anywhere. But whenever you put yourself in those heightened risk situations, you immediately set yourself up for everybody to be pissed off at you. I'm happy he's okay. Let's get to some fucking football now. Let's go to these 5-hour energy phone lines. 1-833-4-McAfee. I will be excited to hear what Tomlin and the boys have to say about this, though. To be honest, they'll be asked about it. And I'm sure Double M won't mention it today.
No way.
Let's go to Sebastian in Indianapolis. Sebastian, what's going on the 5-hour energy phone line, pal?
Hey, what's up, Matt? What's up, Pat?
Hey, just hanging out. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, man, I'm looking at this Alabama versus Miami game, and honestly, I'm thinking like an upset or at least a cover on that spread. Miami's bringing back 10 out of the 11 offensive starters and 9 out of the 11 defensive starters. And, you know, with all that COVID eligibility that's coming and just giving the old heads more experience and time on the field, I think they can take Alabama down. I mean, they lost all their experienced players. They lost Mac Jones and Harris. I mean, that's all the experience you have. And I get it, but the spread at 18.5 is insane.
18?
And you have King. You have King coming back from Miami too.
Okay, Sebastian in Indianapolis, I appreciate you, man. You got De'Aaron King coming back. Garen Justice offensive line coach, was teammates with me at West Virginia. He said he's got dogs down there. They got Rhett Lashley's offense, formerly of SMU. They're trying to run 100. I think you can.
Done.
Okay.
Good to go.
How do we do that? What's the right way?
No, yeah, I think that was the right way.
That's the signal.
Just right on the thing, I should do that?
Yeah.
Anyways, shout out to Sebastian. 18 seems like a lot, but Alabama's Alabama, dude. They got 5 stars on top of 5 stars, shitting out 5 stars for a reason. If they want to, the Miami team's going to run fast. They're going to play quick. Is that in Alabama or is that in Miami?
Miami's listed as the home team. I want to say it's a neutral site. If I'm correct.
I heard neutral site back here.
If that was down in Miami, not that Alabama isn't incredibly hot and everything like that, but if that was down in Miami, maybe it starts swaying me a little bit. But until we see this Alabama team, we just have to assume that they have all 6-star quarterbacks and everything's going to be better somehow than it was last year.
Yeah, if there's a time to get them, though, it would be week 1 when they are only returning 4 starters on offense and do have a new offense coordinator and new quarterback. And like he said, he was right. Miami returns 10 starters on offense, 9 on defense. So 18 may be a lot. I'm not going to pick against Alabama, but
that feels like not a bad bet is what you're saying. I think so, too. And we have to remember, for far too long, we've always just given the sports book these, awards for being smarter than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I called Thursday Night Football on these college football games that we had heard of none of the players. None of the players. We had no idea who any of them were. We were in towns that we'll never, ever probably visit again, although they were very nice people. I knew nothing about it. And somehow, more often than not, the people out in the desert, the sportsbook people, were getting proper, predictions.
Absolutely.
Nailing the scores somehow. The over-unders were hitting. I mean, it was just the precision of these sports books and the odds makers is something that we will all be confused by forever. But they also said that Nebraska, 6.5 this weekend.
Yeah.
The week 0 of college football, that's what they're calling it, right?
Right.
This past weekend.
Yep.
The only thing we learned was what? That Scott Frost is fucking dead?
Yep.
Or is Nebraska fucking dead? Is it the fact that he's in Nebraska that they stink? Or is it the fact that Scott Frost is in Nebraska that they stink? Everybody told me that his unfaltering or unaltering loyalty to Adrian Martinez is the reason why he has continued to lose. That was bad. I don't pay attention enough to Nebraska football to know whether or not it's Nebraska's fault or Scott Frost's fault. But Illinois looked like a much better football team and old Bielba getting out there. But once again, the sports books did not expect that.
No.
So maybe we give the odds makers too much credit at this point. Maybe we should take advantage of Miami plus 18 whenever we sniff something that might seem a little bit off.
Yeah, if there is a week that the books are going to get got, it's early in the season because, just like us, they're not sure exactly what's going to happen this season either, especially after last season when some teams only played like 3 or 4 games. Like those like Nebraska and Illinois didn't play a lot of games last year. And to your point, Scott Frost was good before Nebraska. So
yeah, Nebraska hasn't been worth the shit for a while now.
He said it's impossible to recruit to Nebraska.
Yeah,
too cold.
It wasn't 20 years ago, but it certainly appears it is now.
They haven't been good since Joe Pa had to be worried about them.
You think if Coach Prime, you think Joe Pa was worried about Nebraska?
Yeah.
Big time.
Oh, yeah.
His wife was worried about some other things, but he was worried about Nebraska. That's just how HBO depicted it.
Yep,
That's
right.
We didn't make these rules. We're just telling you that whenever there was a conversation potentially happening about young Paternos in the pool with old Sandusky, Joe said, I got to worry about Nebraska. I'm just telling you what happened in HBO. I'm not making – listen, I'm just observing and reporting.
Yep.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Just observing and reporting.
That's it.
He'll get another job somewhere at a group of 5 score or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then this whole thing will end. But he was doing Navy SEALs like exercises, right? With his team.
Yep.
It's going to be hard to keep getting those guys to jump into that lake that's freezing cold if you're going to continue to fucking lose, though. I'll tell you that. I know that is something that is probably going to be tough to do. Doesn't seem like he's lost the locker room yet over there, but I think the big takeaway is that the sports books, just like I thought Nebraska was going to be a lot better than they were, they stunk.
Yep.
They absolutely stunk. Let's assume they'll continue to do as such. Let's take advantage of these algorithms and these sports books not knowing what's going on. Speaking of football coaches, congrats to Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Living his dream as a high school football coach. I told these guys, this is fun. You're going to enjoy this. You remember this. I played 250 games in the NFL, 50-plus games in college. I still remember these Thursday, Friday nights from high school. I mean, that was an amazing moment with his team winning 49-0. I enjoyed people responding. Like, that's a blowout. That's a blowout. Well, don't be mad at Phil. Be mad at the fucking losers. Okay? Can we please? I would like to go forever on that side of things. When people win by a lot, for instance, there was like 100-something to 10 game that happened in a basketball game somewhere. I think our U16 women's basketball team won by like whatever the case was. And that's bad sportsmanship. That's bad sportsmanship. You know what's bad sportsmanship? Showing up so unprepared that you get fucking blown out 49-0. That's disrespectful to the sport, disrespectful to the game. I'm tired of the winners being attacked because they're too good as opposed to us attacking the losers because they didn't work hard enough. So now, maybe Phil Rivers' school is giving scholarships to better kids. And they're playing against, some nobody.
Pump-up game.
Then maybe I'm on your side there. But if this is a good versus good here, I don't like whenever the winning team gets attacked. I fucking hate it. I don't like it at all. With that being said, speaking of getting attacked, friend of the show, Trent Dilfer's getting attacked on the internet right now.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
He had a moment with one of his players in the Lipscomb Academy win of 62-7 on Friday night where he and one of his players got into it. We have no idea what happened before this, but I do know it ended with Trent Dilfer telling the kid to sit his fucking ass down. Sit down. Sit your ass down. You think you're playing? Sit your ass down, is what he said. Obviously, the internet is going out of control because in 2021, it is not necessarily the most okay thing to put your hands on a minor. Him pushing him, driving him to the bench, and then it getting into a full altercation scene there. People are attacking. I just want to say, I am not a coach, okay? I'm not sure how I would respond in a lot of situations, but in every team sport I've ever seen, I have seen altercations between coaches and players, including in high school when you're trying to make people into better, hopefully trying to shape their life. We have no idea what happened before this situation. Until the kid speaks, I'm not going to say a goddamn thing. Until Trent speaks, I'm not going to say anything. I have seen this, but there's a lot of people who have never seen a coach lose his mind on somebody before, I think, on the internet, and they came out in abundance on Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, I feel like all of us had the same thought. Like, if you played high school football that was competitive, like Lipscomb Academy clearly is, like, this is just what happens. Like, no matter what, whether you screw up very badly or, you say something to another kid or a ref, like, you're going to get yelled at by the coach, and that's part of building the, shaping the person into a man like Dilfer's doing with his team because they're still winning 62-7. Jesus.
Go ahead, Z.
I'm seeing right now that is Phil Dawson's kid as well.
That's his kid?
Yes.
And that changes, yeah.
Okay, so this is nothing.
Yeah.
It's
More
Phil Dawson's actually probably pretty thankful that Trent Dilfer did this. Now, it's never right to put your hands on anybody, okay? And I know that we're in a much different time than we were. Remember, I was duct taped to a fucking fence at one point in my life to get taught. I've been yelled. I've been on the receiving end of a couple of these in 3 different sports, okay, because of my mouth potentially in high school. But in 2021, we're in a different time. A lot of people are attacking him. If that's Phil Dawson's kid, I assume this is just going to become something that is of the past. And hopefully the team will be able to come together. And maybe whatever the altercation was over won't happen again, which is ultimately what you're trying to do when you coach somebody up, is fix the situation going forward.
Well, to your point, too, like, I mean, that's what the internet is now, where people see that and they just go crazy. But, I mean, look how that's all it took was like, oh, that's Phil Dawson's kid. Phil Dawson and Dilfer are very good. It could be his godfather, for all we know. Like, that changes everything immediately. And if you take 10 seconds to look into that and find that out, maybe, there wouldn't be as much outrage. Maybe there would be.
Yeah, well, I doubt it. I doubt there'd be any outrage.
Right, nope.
They knew it was Phil Dawson's kid. Like, if that was Dilfer's kid, everybody's like, yeah, coach him up.
Yeah, exactly.
Get him.
Yeah, the kid's being a fucking prick or whatever, Like, that is... Coaches in high school, you're trying to teach the game, you're trying to teach the culture, you're trying to teach resilience, you're trying to teach all these things. But also when somebody messes up, you have to, especially if somebody's a little bit more stubborn, like maybe I was. Maybe there's a couple things where it's like, you are a child still.
Yeah.
You do not know. Shut the fuck up. Well, I still think I'm right. You weren't there. It has happened to me. Okay, I'm just telling you, it's happened to me. That's why I'm scared to reproduce. 'Cause my kid is going to be a nightmare to deal with. But I can see why in 2021 everybody wants bananas. But I mean, now that it's Phil Dawson's kid, even more so. It's like, if that kid is better now because of it, do we not think that's the right move, or should we do it differently still? Probably.
Yeah,
Let's go one last phone call here because I think we got about a minute left. Let's go to Devin in Alabama. What's going on, Devin?
He dropped off, Pat.
All right, no more phone calls. 1 minute left. Chris Mad Dog Russo, Mad Dog Unleashed will be on the other side. At Boston Connor, your final thoughts on this Monday, August 30th, before a legend takes the microphone airwaves.
Week 1, you got to assume, Pat, all these rookies are going to start. I know Andy Dalton will play, but I just feel as though the rookie quarterbacks have performed pretty goddamn well, and we're going to see a lot of them to start the season.
That's because you were hoping that Mac Jones starts over Cam Newton, obviously, and of course, Ty Schmidt before Chris Mad Dog Russo comes on. Anything to say?
Yeah, I just cannot wait that we have real and meaningful football just 10 days away. It just feels so good. We did it. We made it. We're almost there.
Tone Diggs.
Good to have you back, Paul.
Great to be back. Travis Kelce will be back on the show tomorrow.
Let's go!
We will chat with him with other conversations, I'm sure, that should be riveting as I close up my battle against this son of a bitch, COVID. Chris Mad Dog Russo and Mad Dog Unleashed will be on the other side of this 6-minute break. I promise his show will be much better than ours. We'll be back manana with AJ Hawk and the boys. We'll see you then. Cheers. Hey, people are not happy.
Oh, yeah?
With what?
With what?
People are not happy with Trent Dilfer.
No.
Yeah. I really don't get that.
He has to have a good relationship with the kid to do that. Like that's relationships that I've had with coaches. Like they're not doing that to kids that they don't have, like that they don't care about and they don't have a relationship.
Yeah.
Here's a perfect scenario. Rest in peace, Coach Sacco.
Yeah, he chewed me.
So I was playing soccer my entire life, obviously. When I started playing football, I'd just show up on game days. Literally just show up on night of the game. I'd walk in with the fans sometimes. Knew nothing about the locker room culture, knew nothing about football, really. Frank Sacco, defense coordinator, rest in peace, absolute legendary human being. He seemed to take a liking to me, which is very nice of him. He was kind of a hard ass, right?
Yes, very much.
Kind of a hard ass guy, but he took a liking to me, I think, because I could kick the ball well. I think he enjoyed my personality as well, but you know, he would come talk to me and stuff like that. There was a game where I didn't miss any field goals in high school, so it had to be, I hit a kickoff like out of bounds or something, and I wasn't happy. So I literally took my helmet off and I slammed it off the ground, right? I was so mad. Oh, my God. He grabbed my shoulder pads, and he said, that helmet will save your fucking life on this field. Don't you ever disrespect it ever again. I don't care how bad you kick a football. And then he shoves me off, right? And it was like one of those moments where I needed to know that, okay? Is that the exact way to tell me that information? Maybe there's other ways to do it, but I never, ever forgot it in my entire life.
Right. Yeah.
Never, ever forgot it. And it was one of those things as a high school coach, whether it's football or any other sports, there is so much of an expectation for you to not only teach them the game, but also teach them about life. And I'm not saying that's what Trent Dilfer did. Once again, I have no idea. We have no context at all. But the fact that everybody was just ready for it, hey, he needs to be fired. He needs to never coach again. Would you rather have somebody that doesn't give a fuck at all about the players? Because it feels like there has to be some sort of passion if you want to invoke actual change. And I don't love that all of a sudden he's getting wrote off. He just, you know, I don't love that. This guy is, I don't know.
And to your point, Pat, to your point, Sack, who you talked about, was the coach that I was closest with. I coached with him. He brought me on his staff after we were done. He did that to me and CFO Phil together multiple times because we were being pricks and assholes. Sometimes just as a high school kid, you need to be put in your spot.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, especially, I mean, obviously Diggs and CFO Phil thought they were untouchable, but
CFO Phil was being a prick? No way.
We got lippy for no reason.
Yeah, a little lippy. But for me, you know, I mean, I needed a couple people to probably tell me to chill the fuck out.
Yeah,
you know,
and those are the best coaches. Like, those are the guys that you want. And I'm assuming, too, that they probably didn't record Dilfer going over and, like, putting his arm around the kid and, like, hey, you know, kind of explaining himself. Hey, I love you, by the way. I know we had a little moment there, but, you know, I got your back always. Like, that is typically what follows after you get chewed out to a certain extent.
Hate me now, love me later, dude.
Bingo. Boom.
Pat.
Slap dick.
Pat, did you see? You made the point earlier about the winning teams always get blamed in these blowout losses and things like that. Did you happen to see ESPN airing that high school football game where IMG Academy just beat the brakes off of some team?
No, but I heard they apologized for running the game.
They had to apologize on air for running it, and it may be the only time, to your point, where we saw someone blame the losing team, saying, "Hey, this team had no business being here. They should not have been on the same field with these IMG guys."
Yeah, the IMG guys. I also alluded to this though, right? They just give scholarships.
The recruiting. Yeah, they get like the top dudes in the entire nation
in every
sport.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Because I remember in high school soccer, if you went to the IMG Academy, it was a big deal. Like, oh, you got invited to the IMG Academy, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but if they're not playing against other teams that are just having all-stars, that shouldn't be on TV. Was that team was that not another all-star team they were playing against?
Well, so
Apparently it was a fake school.
Yeah, I guess they tried to position it to get them on TV, and they said they had several guys on the roster who were getting looked at by D1 schools, but then the ESPN people couldn't verify any of them in their database. And they also said they played a game 2 days prior
Yeah, they played Friday
to the game
as well.
Which in high
So
school,
these people are just trying to get on TV.
I think so. That's kind of the article that I read made it seem like it was more like shame on this school because they clearly did this for promotion. I think it's an online charter school, but they also have a football team that they must have just created. And yeah, they essentially just lied about a bunch of bullshit to get them some pub and get them on ESPN. And then they got beat 65-0.
Can't do it.
See, those kids, kind of got thrown into it there.
Oh, yeah.
By the adults.
Just getting screwed over.
Good on ESPN, though. Look at them taking a good stand.
Yeah. Crushing it.
Did you guys watch Game Day?
I did.
How was it?
It was very. There were a lot of awkward moments. The
Migos.
There was a very awkward interview with Migos, and the Migos concert was awkward. It was at a neutral site, which is never as good as when they're at an actual school with an actual crowd. They did a few Zooms with coaches, and those interviews are just always like vanilla Mickey Mouse. You don't get anything out of them. Like when it's just the guys on set, it's good, but the stuff surrounding it was a little awkward.
But Game Day being on TV means
football's back. Like that sound. But also the Migos, to Tony's point, they asked them hey, who you guys got today? And Offset, one of the Migos, of course, basically had no fucking clue who was playing.
I saw that.
Yeah.
The interview though could have been, hey, insert name of school is playing insert name of school.
Yes.
Your song.
Yeah, exactly. He did get screwed over, and you could tell he looked like the home team. Or, it was awesome.
We like somebody. I know we like somebody.
It was
How's
incredible.
everybody else? How are you guys been doing, man? How's your weekend?
Weekends are good. Just played a little golf. I posted I missed an eagle putt by about hair of my skin.
It was unbelievable.
What do you? Yeah, Foxy got it. But dude, it's just good to have you back, man. These shows have been fucking. They've been brutal for us just because, like I said earlier, we basically just think of questions to ask AJ, and it's very nice to have you back so you can just fucking do your thing, and we can just feed off you versus.
I appreciate that. Do my thing. I had to think about that as I was in my COVID cave. I was like, what happens if I don't know what to do whenever I get back? Because I don't have a clue what I do. So this is a little bit of this is something that has happened to me through my life here. So when I do something, nobody wants me to change because they want me to remain different. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But then that means nobody knows how to
direct
help.
you. Yeah. Sure.
So it's always like, we don't want to do too much because we don't want to change or whatever. It's like, I appreciate that. That means a lot. I view that as a massive compliment. And then as I'm walking away, I'm always like, okay, so if I fall into a rut, like nobody has a clue on then what happens. And it's nice to know that as soon as these lights came back on and the thing, it was like my brain will just kind of figure it out as we go. I haven't run into much COVID clot. You know what I mean?
That's good. Yeah, I feel like that's a real thing too.
Strong brain.
I've actually felt some clarity almost because I haven't been able to smoke.
Oh, yeah?
I haven't been able to smoke because I'm worried about my lungs, but, maybe my brain got better through this thing.
Oh, possible. Look at.
Maybe. The MLS has been awesome.
Yeah.
You guys should watch it. And by you guys, I mean, I played soccer, so I have a general understanding of what's going on in soccer. I actually played with the Columbus Crew for a few days. whenever the lockout was about to happen. But watching the MLS last year, whenever they were down in Orlando in the bubble, was awesome because there's no other sports on, but also because you never knew what was going to happen. Like a goalie might legitimately let a ball go right through his hands, off of his face, hit off the crossbar, and go in for a game-winning goal in the final second. Like that might happen in the MLS bubble. I've been watching this past weekend, the last couple of days. It's electrifying, dude. They got a lot of players from Central America, I think, South America. So it's very similar to that Gold Cup. Fast, they're flying around. It's absolute chaos, dude. I've enjoyed the MLS immensely. Now, the NFL's in 10 days, so there's no chance this will continue. But the LA Galaxy, LAFC, Derby or whatever they call it, 3-3, it ended as a tie. Wasn't happy. Got to fix that, obviously, because you have so many people watching. But, man, it was electrifying. I'm an MLS fan, I think, at this point. I don't know how long I'm going to be or how many more games I'm going to watch once the NFL starts, but it was fucking awesome. They really helped me get through some times over here.
Yeah, and the window's open. I mean, you said 10 days. Hey, that's a long time. And we have no football this entire week or I guess till next Thursday, and we got college on Saturday. But there's a nice little 5-day weekday here where the MLS can absolutely take over.
And Gumpy's in his COVID cave. Are they playing every night here or no?
Oh,
I don't know.
I have no clue.
I don't know, to be honest.
But I do remember last year, specifically, some dude, to your point about anything can happen, this guy like diced 8 people and then he goes to cross the ball and he just fucking whiffed on the ball. And it rolled out. Yeah, he kicked the ground and it rolled out of bounds. That was gold. Anytime you get that. Yeah.
Hey, that's MLS soccer, baby.
Yes.
I got games this Friday.
They got nothing else all week?
Nothing this week, yeah. Friday and Saturday.
Windows open, MLS.
They need not be going against out on this SmackDown, too. Man.
Huh.
How was the show?
I watched. Good show. Good show. Yeah. They had a huge number, I guess. Huge rating. I think it's after SummerSlam.
Post-Brock.
And there's also, some rumors with Scumbag, too.
Is that right?
Allegedly, there was last week. I don't know what's going to pop off this week. But, yeah, this Scumbag was potentially – the internet wrestling community was up in arms thinking maybe he was going to pop in there. Ooh. Of course, if he would have and I wasn't there, I would have called him a big, fat, sack of shit.
Right, which he is.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely is.
Dirtbag.
But that's a good show. Watching from home.
Yeah, was it weird not being there?
Yeah, there was just so many things I had,
Stuff you wanted to get in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. There's a lot of situations that I wish I would have had a microphone for, but Corey Graves and Kevin Owens did an incredible job, as Michael Cole did. Obviously, he's the GOAT, so it's going to be weird. I'm missing another week, but I'm super excited for my brother's wedding on Friday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we go, Jay.
Jay, I'm legitimately pumped to see everybody. Also, I'm getting out of my cave then. So.
Yeah, exactly. 10-day window. Do you expect Jay to bring a Jimmy John sub up to the altar while you guys are standing up there? Or no?
Mid-val, probably. Yeah, I'll take
Mid-val,
a bite or two.
okay.
Yeah.
Can I get a couple extra onions? It's my big day.
Where's my 2-liter?
It's my big day.
Can I get a straw for this 2-liter?
All right, I'm going to get out of here and go check on the wife. She's doing well, by the way.
Good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I think she's doing really well. Maybe I took on the hard delta so she can take on.
That's honorable.
Great husband.
Mm-hmm.
People forget. You know what I mean? Like,
no, chivalry's not dead.
Whenever she was, the first day, whenever she was going through it, I felt terrible because it was 1,000% because like she was sick 1,000% because of something that I brought into our lives. You know what I mean? So as I saw her battling and she was passed out, I was like looking at her like probably how a parent looks at a baby like, all right, nothing can happen to you. Okay, you hear me? Because nothing can happen to you. And then next morning, wake up, she feels a little, I'm like, you good? You good? Yeah, I'm like, because this is directly my fault. I mean, you have been in the house with me because you were caring for me is probably because why you had this, by the way. So it's nice to know that she is feeling much better here, to be honest, on my soul out here.
Yeah, but like the Colts doctor told you, like if it's inevitable that everyone's just going to end up getting this thing, there's just nothing you can really do,
It wasn't the Colts doctor that told me. I can't say this yet again. Like it was everything I read on the internet. basically said, the Colts doctor told me, hey, you need to drink as much water as fucking possible. You need these. And then they got me, he got me something for the afterwards so I don't catch pneumonia here.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Perfect.
With the congestion afterwards. So
I need to forward you an email, too. There's people reaching out to me, too, to help you out with your remember how you said they were reaching out to CFO Phil and stuff like that with trials?
a lot of trials have been sent my way.
There's someone in my emails, too. I'll forward it to you.
At this point, I don't think I need them.
Yeah.
But I appreciate everybody's, thoughts. Like, you know what? There's a guy that we should experiment a drug on. All right. I appreciate you all so much. It was an honor being back. You guys have a great day. Take care of the office down there, please.
Yes, sir.
You too. Get better soon, Sam.
Good having you back. Good luck, Sam.
Sam, pulling for Sam. Gumpy, too, man.
Yeah.
Good luck, Gumpy.
Good luck, Gumpy.
Good luck, Sam.
Congrats to Mitt on his big bet paying off.
Oh, yeah. Good work, man.
Hype boy.
I'm sure we'll hear about that at Hammer Down. I will watch. Oh, no. Maybe I'm not out of the woods yet.
Tell you, you're probably going to be tired after doing this for 3 hours.
I didn't know the stamina, by the way, coming in here.
Yeah.
I didn't know, especially because I got no juice.
Oh, yeah. No Celsius at your house?
I got no Celsius here.
You want me to drop off a
Shuttle some
canister?
Nah, I think now's a good time to reset the body,
Okay, yeah.
Not smoking, no Celsius.
Little detox.
Becoming a coffee guy. Reboot.
I had coffee for 2 days out there in Arizona. I am rebooting, Zito. I am rebooting. Hey, how about Cutler? Did you like him, Z?
I love Jay Cutler, man. Honestly, throughout all the times watching him, he made Bears games way better.
Yeah, because you guys were always in it because you never knew what he was going to do, right?
Yeah. I hated how Chicago treated him on the way out, though.
You did throw him into a very difficult question, though.
Oh, I know. You got to just stir it up sometimes. Just got to stir it up.
Hey, good journalism, huh?
Oh, baby, Z.
Gotta ask those tough questions.
He's on record saying he loves Nagy, and I just don't know why. I like Nagy as well, huh?
He probably met him.
That's true, but I've heard from other people that they don't like him, so that's why it's...
Zito, you go on here every day and you defend and say you love Aaron Hernandez. Why are you so critical of Jay Cutler
I
and
say
Matt Nagy?
he's a top 5 tight end. Was a top 5 tight end.
All right.
That's all I
I'll
say.
see.
All right, man.
Good work, everybody. See ya, manana. This has been the Pat McAfee Show, Monday, August 30th. AJ, we miss you, buddy. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Thanks for saving the world, though.
You're the man, AJ.
Cheers to everybody. We doing a giveaway? No giveaway.
No.
All right. See you guys tomorrow.
See ya.